Well, happy Saturday to everyone, and welcome to Adventures in Aanthara. It has been a long time coming, so I'm very grateful to be here, and to all of these lovely players for joining me and exploring this world that I've been working on for a long time.
Too long.
So, before we get to the world, let's meet those players. If you all could introduce yourselves, I think we all see each other in the same order. So, from me, like down how you would read a
Not
book.
quite. It's okay.
No?
No, it's not quite.
All
It
right, well,
doesn't quite
introduce
line up,
yourselves
but
in
it's
whatever
okay.
order you want. Brief
Yep.
intro. Not your characters, that'll come. Yourselves.
I'll start.
Yay.
Hi, my name is Sean, aka Prism on the Discords and the internets. I am a dungeon master, player extraordinaire, and I'm also like clinically insane. So this is gonna be a really fun game.
Hi everybody, I'm Sabel. I like to call myself the prop master. I have a variety of implements that I'll be showing off as like fun gimmicks and gags. Okay, so that's me.
I'm Brian. I don't really have much else to offer except for my presence. So
Damn.
Good thing it's a great presence.
I have a beard. There you go.
True.
Great beard. Cool. I'll go guess. I'm Leah. Hi. And I don't know what else to say. I've been a player in other games here, and now I'm another player. But no singing this time. It's great.
Hi, I'm Jess. I'm here.
True.
Love it. Absolutely.
Nailed the intro, you guys.
Bottom
Alright.
row vibes.
We're
Well
so
done.
professional.
Well
Yeah.
done. All right. Now we can get into the adventures in Aanthara. Our session and our story begin in the year 3348 PR, on the first day of the Springflower Festival in late March in the city of Proward. One of three sister farming cities in northwest Kathos, Proward, like the Cathian Republic as a whole, has enjoyed relative peace for a few hundred years. Clasped between two stretches of the Black Rock River and nestled into the hills around the Darklock, Proward is known across the realm for its rich soil, the unrivaled crops that soil produces, and the warm, simple folk who till those crops and call Proward home. And the prospering harvests of Proward tell the tale of Kathos on the whole. From its coastal resorts, to its academies of magic and learning, to its centers for scientific exploration that have produced technological wonders once thought impossible, Kathos has become the fastest growing and most advanced of the three major realms of Aanthara. Beyond Proward's somewhat simple fields, Kathos is a vast and varied landscape, spanning several hundred miles across the center of Aanthara. Its windswept plains are carved through by mighty mountain ranges, fast-flowing rivers, forests, woods, and wetlands, and by winding republic roads, linking city to city, all leading back to the proud capital of Ilmara, the seat of the Grand Parliament and the heart of Kathos. But those are sights and stories for another day. Today, the peace and the light familiar to Proward have been broken and cast in shadow. Without warning, shattering the music and laughter of the festival into screams and chaos, the city was attacked by a horde of gray-skinned, black-eyed harbingers of death and blight that then vanished as quickly as they had appeared. In their wake, they left dozens of citizens dead or wounded, and countless others in fear or anguish. After gathering in the center of town, under a gray, clouded sky amidst a slowly swelling storm, a figure of authority took this to the stone steps of the town hall to address the crowd and announce that 4 children of the city were missing and, according to some shaky accounts, believed to be taken by the creatures. This gentleman, called for volunteers to undertake a rescue mission, and one by one, 5 figures stepped forward from the crowd to answer the call. And that is where we will begin. Brian, before this gentleman even finished speaking, probably a good 10 or 15 seconds before, you all see the first figure step forward. If you would like to describe your character.
And of all the stuff that I had available,
Oh no.
you see step forward a tiefling who has dark gray skin with rigid black horns that curl back across his head and then peak and turn towards the front again. And they kind of have a gradient that goes from black into white. His hair pulled back in a braid goes from a darker gray into almost like a cyan light blue. And he is wearing a leather jacket that is upturned at the sleeves, and underneath is a green shirt with a large, maybe 4 or 5 inch wide belt that is going from one shoulder across down to his hip. Laced boots with straps, and a long tail with slight ridges on the outside of it, and it comes to a point at the end. And on his left hand, you can see a bound glove, which is just made of loose leather that is strapped together, and there's something affixed to the back of it. And he also carries a dagger at his side and a small bag.
All right. Very shortly behind this figure, both in time and physically among the crowd, Leah, would you like to describe your character as she steps forward?
Yeah. You see what can only be described as a very colorful figure. Bright blue hair, coral, like, crop top and skirt with an orange band on the side and a turquoise kind of situation going on. But from what you also notice about this figure real quickly is that she is covered in feathers. Some up her arm, like little wings, some a little cute little, like a foot long tail feathers coming from her back. You see her back is like there's a whole spine that is covered with like feathers going down. Her forehead has feathers going up and into a plume of like a pink coral orange feather that goes all the way back. 2 little orange feathers in her hair, and she has this sort of like tattoo tribal nonsense going on her arms and then on her face as well. And I will post a picture of her as well.
Sweet. All right. Across the square, from a different area of the crowd, you see another figure step forward. Jess, would you like to describe what your character looks like?
Sure. You see a little bit more serious, very straight posture is a taller panther tabaxi with a lance and a buckler. The lance is on her back at the moment, but it is covered in blood from the attack. And she is wearing chain that is covered with a bit of a tunic that looks like it represents a very official organization, with a bit of a cape and a hood that is back at the moment as she approaches.
Okay, thank you. And then from another section, stepping out essentially together, 2 more figures. Sean, if you would like to describe your character.
Absolutely. So, you see a water genasi with sort of kind of pale turquoise skin, this long kind of dark green hair that tumbles just past the shoulders, this neat little amulet around his neck with a little bit of a gold stud earring. He's wearing this sort of long kind of trench / raincoat that goes just past his knees, this white billowing shirt, some leather chaps, very, very Pirates of the Caribbean-esque, type looking dude here. Little bit of scruff. You know, he's kind of got this sort of suave demeanor about him. But the thing that probably strikes you the most is the slight purple glow that seems to accompany him from behind. And as he slightly turns, you notice a pair of what seem to be small cylinders sticking out of his back that seem to be glowing a faint purple color.
And Sabel, if you'd like to describe your character.
You see another water genasi. Her complexion is darker than that of the other ones. Hair is almost the same color, but is longer and flows almost in like an underwater way. Clothing wise, polar opposites. She wears very, very simple cut garments. They're all like pale linens and very, very natural. She doesn't wear a lot of extravagant things. You take a look at her and you probably think she's not wearing any shoes, which she's not. She also holds this staff that appears to look like some kind of small tree or foliage. And the interesting thing is that this tree, her staff, is blooming almost. It has these beautiful flowers and things, but part of it has wilted a little. And you kind of get the feeling that maybe it's an environmental thing and it's kind of reflecting what's going on. She looks a little bit timid and she's sticking pretty close to the other genasi.
All right. The five of you step out of the crowd and make your way up to the foot of the town hall stairs, where two figures step forward to meet you, and a small group of families remain behind them. The two figures that step forward to meet you, the first is a Ardkel man. An Ardkel, for those who know nothing about Aanthara, which is basically everyone, is this world's kind of a version of what we typically know a half-orc to be in D&D, but there are no creatures made here by the union of orc and whatever other thing make half-orcs, because I never really got or liked that concept. So the Kel are a race of creatures that look like what we know half-orcs to look like, with tusks, kind of the tougher physique. And there are two types. This one is an Ardkel, which has a lighter brown skin. He's bald, kind of a dad bod figure with a big bristling black handlebar mustache and a goatee, and a scar that goes down through his left eyebrow and narrowly misses his left eye. And as you walk up closer, can see he has soft, kind of gold brown eyes, and is dressed in, relative to most of the villagers in Proward, kind of higher class clothes, browns and greens. Looks like someone who might hold an office of some import here. And he's the one who gave the speech to the crowd about the trouble at hand and the need for volunteers. And close behind him, you see a middle-aged rabbit folk man, white, brown, black splotched fur, that kind of rabbit coloration that some rabbits have. He's got it. Wearing leather armor, big, tall, brown leather boots, gray pants, and a blue cape that is clasped at the left shoulder with a silver badge. Some of you might recognize it. And the first figure, as you all approach, kind of reach a point where you're in a small semicircle before him, addresses you. Thank you. I can't even begin to express our gratitude. My name's Mayor Brosh Maddock. It's good to meet all of you. And he kind of reaches out to whoever would be the leftmost. We'll go in the order that you guys introduced yourselves as characters to shake your hands and get your names. So, Brian, he reaches forward to shake your hand.
It's a pleasure to help. My name is Yaznip.
Okay. Leah?
Hawati. Brightwing.
Jess?
Eclipse.
Sean?
My name is Seraph.
And Sabel.
Zefter. Vanna?
Come.
Vanna.
See, it's not that hard.
Good. It's good to meet all of you. You look like you might have been involved in the fray, so I'm gonna trust that you can handle the danger if it comes.
With no question.
Good.
I will make a small request. If you happen to have a spare dagger, I seem to have lost one in the fray.
I'm sure we can help with that. And he turns to the rabbit folk figure who steps forward. I can help you with that. I'm Captain Makai Langdon, and he reaches into his cloak and pulls out a dagger. You can take mine. I'm staying here to fortify the city, so what you're doing is more important.
Thank you, Mr. Langdon. I'll take it, I'll spin it on the hilt on the hand and grab it and stow it.
Great. Also, when Mayor Maddock goes to point at Langdon, his kind of cloak opens a little bit, and you see, strapped into a holster on his chest, a metallic object. Some of you, most of you actually, probably with the exception of one, would know what this is. It's a firearm, specifically a pepper box. You see like a handle and several barrels. You all know what it looks like. Some of you may not actually recognize what it is. And then it kind of goes back under his cloak. Well, getting you out sooner than later is more important than anything, but I'd like you to meet the families and get descriptions of the kids if you're all right with that.
I believe that should be fine. We would need names likely as well.
Right. And he points and calls over to one of the families. It is a family of Verdun, which are small, green-skinned, sort of something between goblinoid and elvish looking. They don't have that like sharp nastiness that we associate with most goblinoid races. They're much more refined, but similar, like shorter and green-skinned. And specifically, you see a quite short man with darker green-brown skin, bald also, simple farmer clothes. With him kind of holding his hand, you see a taller woman with lighter pale green skin and near white hair that's braided up into itself. And she's wearing kind of a very springtime looking white and yellow jumper. And then behind them, more similar to the height of the man, but a probably late 20s young adult woman, similar vibrant green skin and kind of ashen, slightly wavy gray-white hair that goes down past her shoulders. Looks like, to some degree, the woman, and you assume this to be a father and a mother and an older daughter. He calls them forward. This is the Peaches, or we call them that. They don't actually have a last name, but they have a peach orchard in the city. Their son is Clayson. He's young Verdun, looks kind of like Toit there, but much smaller. And the male Verdun steps forward. I can't thank you enough. Our son he's an adventurous lad, but I'm scared for his safety. Please do whatever it takes to get him back.
I
And
don't
the
know
woman,
if I speak for everyone, but
go ahead,
thank us
go ahead.
when we return would probably be the best.
the woman kind of nods at you. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. And they kind of step back. He points over to a family of white rabbit folk. All of you have met this family because they are the Hop-Across family who run the Hop-Across ferry that brings travelers and visitors into town from across the Darklock, and all of you rode that ferry. So you recognize these figures, and the mother and father, Dennis and Donna, both kind of wave to each of you, actually recognizing each of you and remembering you slightly from bringing you across the ferry. And with them, 4 kids. You know there to have been 5 kids, varying ages from 15, the oldest, which is Daniel, down to 2, which is Dylan, the youngest, a small, chubby little rabbit folk. And in between, David and Diana, who are kind of preteens. All of them are wearing similar white pantaloons and blue vests with a patch sewn on the vest with a symbol that you remember from the ferry of a rabbit hopping over like a small body of water. And the 2 middle children are pretty much just staying in the back, quiet and clearly downcast. The youngest, Dylan, maybe doesn't quite entirely understand what is going on. He has in his hand a small rattle that he keeps shaking, and it's making animal noises, not typical rattle sounds. So you hear like a wolf howl and then a cow moo, and he's somewhere between fascinated by it and curious about you guys. And also you notice dangling from the rattle tied to the end a small feather with a pretty bright coloration that you have not seen on a lot of birds around this area, but do see on one of the people in your party. And the oldest, Daniel, looks angry and frustrated and kind of is glaring at his parents. And they step up to you. Donna steps up a little closer and says, I remember each of you. Thank you so much for doing this. Whatever we can give you, we don't have much, but our ferry business brings in a little money, so we'll try to pull something together for you.
I think just a wish of good luck will suffice.
Well, you absolutely
Please.
have that, and you'll have our
Donna.
prayers.
Donna, was Daisy wearing the same things as the other children?
She would have been, yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And at this point, Dylan, the oldest, Daniel, the oldest, the 15-year-old, just kind of stomps forward and glares at his parents from the side. I want to go. I can help. I can fight. And the mother looks at him immediately. Daniel, we cannot lose another child. You're staying. You can help us protect the city. And the father, Dennis, kind of puts his hand on his shoulder. We're going to need somebody to protect the people who are here. You can help captain that.
Is there a stick nearby? Similar to what I had before?
A stick.
Like what I'd found for the kids before. When I
There's
was
not.
There's not.
You
Yeah.
don't see one right now, no.
Ah.
Can I kneel in front of Dylan? Is that the littlest one, Dylan?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kneel in front of Dylan, and he's doing the rattle thing, making
Mhm.
different animal noises, right?
Mm.
I will take my staff, and you see this beautifully carved staff with feathers all around it, and she will be like, I can make that too. And she will I will use one of the charges, and you hear sparrows sounding from it.
Okay. He kind of cocks his head slightly, his eyes get a little bigger, and then he looks down at his rattle and kind of like does the thing where your kids stick their tongue out the side of their mouth to focus and shakes it. Let's see. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see what happens here. I'm gonna make the first roll of the official campaign.
Get it!
No.
Get it!
What an egomaniac.
Wow.
Baby rabbit.
Rattle blows up.
From the rattle comes not a sparrow noise, but a similar bird sound whistling. He rolled really well on an attempt to get it to make a bird sound. And it kind of tweets back. And he gets very excited about that. Doesn't say anything. You don't know actually if he can say anything at this point, but seems maybe just shy and goes back to playing with his rattle.
It's that happy
And-
toddler wiggle.
Yes, happy toddler wiggle. And Daniel, the oldest, kind of appears to be accepting what his parents have told him, and they all kind of step back.
Does
Does
Daniel or Dennis have any weapons on them that we can see?
No. No.
I'm going to pull the hand axe that I have hanging from my backpack and say, well, since they provided me a dagger, I won't need this. And I'll hand it to Dennis
Okay.
for whoever you appoint to help protect. And I'll kind of briefly look towards Daniel.
Okay. He'll take it, and from the way he takes it, you imagine he's probably not much of a warrior and isn't necessarily much of a wielder of daggers, and he does look to Daniel when you say that. Hold on to it for now. They step back a couple steps forward. A man, human, huge, ripped, jacked, buff man, red hair, hairy arms. The hair is long and curly. He has kind of what you would expect a blacksmith to wear under the blacksmith apron. Is not wearing a blacksmith apron, but you do see kind of like black stained hands. You do get the sense this might be the town's blacksmith. And as he steps forward, you notice he has a heavy limp in his right leg. And with him, kind of holding his arm in the crook of his arm, is a beautiful red-haired woman, also long and curly, very lovely feminine figure, and soft, kind blue eyes. And she's holding a piece of paper that's kind of crumpled or folded up a little bit in her hand. And the man goes to shake each of your hands one by one, doesn't say anything, and the woman steps forward and hands a piece of paper to Brightwing. I don't know who you are, but I think our daughter might. And that's it. They step back.
Is it the picture?
You want to like unfold it?
Yeah.
You see when you met Molly. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned. Oh, you know the Hoppercross family child that was missing's name is Daisy. This couple does say that their child's name is Molly. When you met her, she was drawing a number of birds around the outside of the page.
Yeah.
That looked familiar to you and aren't very common elsewhere that you've seen. But there was kind of like this empty space in the middle. Now you see there is a pretty childish depiction of a young woman with similarly colored feathers to the bird, sprouting from various points in her body, simple garb, and a curved staff.
She doesn't say anything, she just nods and takes it close.
Okay. And last, by himself, you see an old gnomish figure, man, white hair that is pretty much all gone on top, but sprouting pretty crazily from the sides of his head, from his ears, from his nose. Some of you saw him outside the Farm to Bottle Scumble shop throughout the past couple days. And he kind of ambles forward. I'm Wigan Perinacle the third. My grandson Wigan Perinacle the fifth. He's the one who's missing. Please find him. He steps back. The Mayor Madoff, kind of pulls you guys back to himself now that the families have stepped away. So, the one piece of, I don't know, clue that we had a witness who told Langdon that he had seen several of those creatures pounce on Daisy and Clayton, who were together at the time, I guess. And what he says he saw was an odd flurry of movement that seemed more intent on restraint than attack, or at least that's what he said. And he thought he saw a flash of flame and an odd spectral glow, but then he was attacked and had to run and lost sight. And he said it happened south of the square. That's really all that we have on any of the kids. And I know that the Hop Across has made an offer. I will organize a collection of funds from the city if I can, especially since you all are outsiders. I'll see what I can do. Is there anything you might need supplies-wise besides that dagger?
Not really knowing the rest of you. Capabilities of keeping everybody healthy. Are you guys fit for that?
I'll be fine.
I believe I'll be alright.
Well, I think one of our, and he kind of looks out to the crowd, seems to find someone and kind of beckon with his hand. And you see a dragonborn woman kind of amble forward from the crowd with a cane, rose gold scaled. She has kind of charcoal colored tendrils off the back of her head that kind of clump together, look almost like dreadlocks, and is dressed in very herbalist-y, sort of frumpy greens, with a bunch of bits and bobs and necklaces and charms and things hanging from her. And she ambles forward. As she comes closer, he says, "Do you have anything that might keep this crew healthy if they run into danger?"
Yes, I made a quick stop at my shop. I figured this might be needed.
And reaches into a little bag she has and pulls out 5 bottles of red and kind of holds them out to all of you.
Very kind of you. And grab those.
Have I ever seen this before?
What's in the bottles?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe once or twice in passing. You don't necessarily know what they do.
Okay.
But you've probably seen one on someone at some point.
Okay.
Or in a shop on your travel here. And the mayor says to her, "We'll reimburse you out of the coffers as best we can."
Oh, I understand. Whatever can be done. This is important work.
She ambles back into the crowd. Well, if that's it then, I don't want to keep you obviously any longer than we have to. I think time is probably of the essence. You all good?
You mentioned that the witness had seen the activity south of the square. Did he happen to catch that direction that they left before he was able to break eyesight, or is he unsure?
He didn't. They were in the midst of kind of coming upon the kids when he was also attacked. It seemed like maybe the same time. And he lost sight before he could see where they went.
I may be able to track him.
They did seem to leave that path of decay wherever that they had gone.
Yes.
Very well.
All right. Well, I wish you luck, and we'll be praying.
That's all we can ask.
All right. What would you, as a party, like to do?
Oh.
So, Vanna, I
Sir.
understand that we are in the presence of new friends. It might be a bit jarring at first, but I promise, if you simply just leave it up to your own instinct, right? Perhaps, maybe, you will find some true wondrous things with this group, no?
My instinct is to go jump into the lake and hide.
I genuinely would not recommend doing that per se.
No, I understand because it's not a great timing. I know, but
Can I hear them?
Yeah.
Oh, we're
you
not
guys both
keeping
go.
it subtle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pass behind as I'm like heading south, kind of, and just be like, I've heard the lake has monsters. I wouldn't recommend that, and then just
No,
keep
I was-
going.
I was already in there. Okay.
Well, then, okay, allow me to rephrase. There are some people in this group that might be worth talking to that aren't just going to leave in the middle of a conversation and go do their own thing. So perhaps maybe interact with the, I'm sorry, what are your names?
Yasnip for me.
Yasnip and
You may call me Brightwing.
Brightwing. See? We're already making
Brightwing.
friends.
Yay!
I'll take
The
a,
most
a,
uncomfortable yay.
a brief moment to turn to Brightwing as well. I know we haven't used one of these before, but these are capable of helping close wounds if you drink them.
Oh. Is it very similar to the magic that I wield?
Decently, but it has to be drank fully to work,
Alright.
just in
And
case.
she'll look at it. You see, as she's looking at it very much like Ariel from like Little Mermaid looks at something. Very much just like does not really understand what it is. Closely, very curiously inspecting it with kind of like a wide eye curiosity with it.
I think,
I thought you were oblivious, but this is a whole new level.
Sarah, if you act like I don't know what you act like I know what they say.
Well, yes, but I assume you know what a bottle is, right?
But of course I know the fucking Yes,
Right.
Sarah.
So, see, I think that puts you a step above the competition.
No, I
to be
feel like
perfectly
she's looking.
honest.
No, I feel like she's more confused about whatever is. This is not important.
You're probably
Let's
right.
go.
I am getting a bit off track. What are we going to be doing first, though?
Going to the scene of the crime, and I'm going to tap my chest twice and cast False Life as I begin to walk away.
Oh, smart. I think Brightwing kind of looks back and clutches. She's kind of like also standing behind her staff a little bit, hiding behind it. And then as Yasnip walks away, she's like, "Oh, all right," and starts to follow behind Yasnip.
Well, fuck it. I guess we're doing this now. Come on.
Okay, wait, I had a really good idea.
Oh boy. Walk and talk, please.
Yes, of course. Okay, so you know how when you follow me into the water, your thing gets wet and you're like, oh no, I don't know if it works.
That is perhaps the worst way you could have worded that, but I understand what you're trying to say, and yes,
Okay.
it is a problem that I think
What?
we will deal with when the time comes.
What if you put it inside of an empty water skin?
I don't know if we have a water skin big enough. I mean, it's rather large.
Oh,
So,
well, okay.
I think we just kind of have to bite the bullet and deal with it when the time comes.
Okay.
Anyways,
What are you even talking about?
All right, you
Don't worry
guys are
about
walking.
it. It's fine.
You guys are walking southward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Let's do this. Since we are now starting to move, I would like a marching order from you guys. I am going to hold this marching order permanently throughout the entirety of this campaign until and unless you tell me you want to change it.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
every time we come to a place where I would normally ask you for a marching order, it's just going to
Smart.
default to this so that I never ask you for a marching order again so that you guys don't think something is happening.
Okay.
Fair
So
enough.
now,
That's so smart.
granted, you guys don't know that much about each other yet, so I would assume, or I would expect you guys to change this up a little bit in the very near future. But for now, until you tell me otherwise, and you guys have to actively tell me otherwise, I'm gonna hold this marching order. So you guys tell me what you want to do. You
Well, I
can
think
you can at least get
probably-
a sense of your physicalities. And I will say, by the way, because she mentioned that she was Pantherkin to Baxi, but not necessarily everybody would know what that is. Eclipse does not have the typical, like, stereotypical tabaxi, like, very thin, lithe form that you would imagine in D&D. She is pretty muscled, like you would imagine a panther to be. Much more of that physicality.
Absolutely.
She
All right,
thick.
bad.
Is it the order that we left in?
I think it
No.
would be, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it can be, but as you guys are kind of stepping into town, I will let you guys decide in order if you
I
want.
mean,
And then
I
from
don't
now
think
on,
that
if you
could
want
just
to
make
change it,
sense.
you tell me.
I don't think that's a bad order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Eclipse up front, and then Yasnip and Brightwing in the middle, and then Vana and myself in the back.
That works for me.
Okay.
Alrighty.
I will ask then two of you, Eclipse being one, Eclipse and one other person, to roll a survival check.
The
I got
first
you.
actual roll of the game.
Oh,
Yes, the first roll that is not a rattle D100 roll.
Oh, thank fuck. Okay.
I have good survival, but
Go for it.
what's your mod?
+7.
Oh yeah.
I got a 17.
I got a 7 + 7, so a 14.
Nice.
Okay.
Good, good, good.
All right. You guys head southward and kind of start moving through streets, buildings, looking for signs of these creatures. And as Yasnip pointed out, I think it was Yasnip, it's not that hard to find signs of these creatures because of the blight trails that they leave behind, which, for anyone joining us now, these creatures that attacked, it seems that in the wake of where they move, nature wilts and dies to some degree in a small radius, kind of leaving a trail behind. And so it doesn't take long until you guys kind of pick up a few of these spots, follow a few of them for a few minutes. The first thing that you find that really stands out to any of you as not just general attack, you find a spot that in kind of an intersection between two streets with two very basic looking, not sharp in any way, clearly more like sparring spears, small, like a couple feet long, that are lying in the ground amidst a muddy slur of movement. And there is rain, so it seems to be getting more and more muddy, but it seems that some kind of scuffle happened here. And you see two trails moving away from this spot further southward. And with the 18, which was Eclipse,
Yeah, it was a 17.
yeah, you're able to kind of take a brief moment to look at the tracks, and it seems like the tracks leading away on these two trails are just a little bit deeper than the ones around that area coming in and where the scuffle happened.
Okay.
Does it look like someone was dragged away, or?
With an 18 and a 14, no,
Okay.
it doesn't. It doesn't. You would expect like over the footprints to see like swaths of mud.
Yeah.
You don't see that.
Okay.
So it looks like it's just more weight in the step
It
than
does,
when it came in.
potentially, yes.
I think.
And you see several sets of these footprints heading away across each of these trails. It doesn't seem to be one on each.
Can I look around? Are there like any like stables or an animal of some sort around that might have been in view of this attack?
Roll a perception check.
Oh, it went wild. Woo! That's real good. 17 plus 7. Math. 24.
24.
Yeah.
Not only do you not see a stable or anything with like even a dog tied to a post or anything like that, you do not see or hear a single shred of animal life within sight or sound. And you do see in a couple places near these trails, you see a rat dead and a bird fallen dead. And the absence of animal life, especially like based off when you came in and as you're walking throughout the city, hearing birds, bugs, whatever, seeing little things running around, the absence of animal life around here stands out to you quite a bit with a 24. But you see and hear absolutely nothing.
I think she's gonna go kneel by the dead bird and the rat and goes, "This sort of quiet is not a natural quiet."
Perhaps they're spooked.
I'm gonna pick up the 2 sparring sticks and keep
Okay.
them with me.
Mm-hmm.
Spooked for animals is different.
This is a more. It's not a very.
Natural
Yes.
quiet.
It is calm down. They would have come out by now.
It's almost more of like a fleeing.
It's more that there is no life here.
Like it was pushed out.
Yes.
I see.
I think you will find that death has this funny way of lingering.
I have kind of a backtrack question. Could we see any crops while we were walking here? Is any of it also decayed? Like, is all of it trashed?
So you saw tons of crops while you were traveling here. Right now you're still like in the heart of the city amongst like the streets and the houses, so you can't see crops.
Okay.
But you do know that south of the city, where the city ends, which is a little ways away, there are a few different fields that are kind of just north of and on the fringes of the Dark Lock, and then the Dark Lock itself is south of the
Okay,
city.
so there weren't any in the city as part of the festival that we could check out that are like not yet.
Do you mean like harvested crops, like food?
Yeah, like anything that was
Yeah. Yes.
Was any of it trashed?
Yes. So
Ooh.
as you were making your way through the town, once you reached the town square, especially because that's where a lot of the like booths of people selling things at the festival and stuff were, you did notice that along with the kind of trails in the grass that seem to wilt away where these things move, you did notice like almost a sort of radial effect had gone out, and so like in a booth of strawberries 5 feet from one of these trails, like the first few baskets of strawberries would be just brown, falling in on themselves, rotten, moldy, and then suddenly it would be fine in the last few baskets of strawberries. It was like there was a very localized decay.
Does that mean like the baskets of strawberries that I had are gross now?
You check?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes, they are.
No.
Is
They're
the flower
all ruined.
crown I had also fucked up?
Yes, it is.
God damn. Alright. That makes me sad.
Well,
Okay.
with the lingering death, I think it gives us at least one clue. If we hear wildlife, we've gone too far.
Unfortunately, I do think that's the case.
Matt,
Yes.
can I like stand there for a second and see like a plant? No. Oh, can I stand there? And can I use one of the charges from my staff?
Mmm.
I don't know what it does, but it sounds fancy.
And I'm just gonna try to conjure just a little flower friend, little daisy.
Oh my gosh, Sabel, we're so similar and I love it.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of like pick a point in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want it to be right near, like right in that scuffle area?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of kneel down, put your staff forward, and you see from the ground, as you've seen many, many times before, a fresh, bright daisy kind of pop up as a little shoot, open into a flower, and then right when it reaches its peak, immediately wilt and darken and crumble in on itself.
This is not normal. There is something still here.
There's a lingering death.
So we don't really have a plan to get rid of that, do we?
I am not sure how to help heal this land from it, but perhaps if we rescue the children, they might find the source.
Sarah.
Yeah.
And then she'll kind of like get a little quieter. You don't. Do you think it's the same thing?
I mean, it beats me. We don't really have enough information to go on. I mean, I highly doubt that they would have been having so much trouble if it were just these things. I mean, we kind of ripped them apart, to be honest. So, perhaps what we found before was stronger, but this feels uncanny to an extent, I think.
Okay.
And I just can't shake the feeling out of my head that we're missing something at the Dark Lock.
I'm
That
sure we're
lake-
missing something.
That lake has to have something. I mean, I just can't get the thought out of my brain.
I would go.
I don't know about the rest of these people.
The Dark Lock is to the south, and that is where we're headed. We'll see if we get that far.
We did a bit of exploring yesterday, was it? And
Last night.
there was a bit of a just uncomfortable atmosphere as we explored underneath. As if we were alone. Like we were being monitored, being watched by things from the shadows.
Matt, I didn't sense any of that, right?
No. You did not get the feelings, no, that Sarah is talking about.
But, maybe it is, related. Should we check it out, as you say?
I mean, it's a shot in the dark, to be perfectly honest. I don't have much else to go on other than just a gut feeling. But I think if all signs are pointing south, then, perhaps follow the signs.
Well, if we follow the footsteps that these two have found, and it leads us to a dead end, so to say, we could potentially proceed onward towards the Dark Lock. It could both end up in the same location.
Very true.
All right. Give me one moment, please. And she's gonna go over and just bury the dead rat and bird real fast.
Okay.
Eclipse is kind of like antsy stepping towards the cell.
I'm probably matching pretty closely with Eclipse at this point.
Yeah, just kind of like respectfully waiting, but kind of.
Vanna's gonna pick the daisy, too.
Now, Vanna, I've never seen you bury an animal before, but is this something that you nature people usually do when, you find a dead creature, you just bury it on the spot, or...
Yes, if Redwing hadn't have done it, I would have.
Really?
Of
I only
course.
thought that's very wonderful. My people, we try to make sure that what is from nature returns to nature.
Well, I definitely hope that these children don't return to nature anytime soon. So if we may...
That is a good call, actually. Yes, smart.
Respectfully, we should get going.
I am sorry.
No, that's fine.
You're doing what suits you. I can't fault you for that.
I think,
But also, there are children that might be dying, so we really should, probably get a move on.
you see
That
she
one.
really shrinks at that and kind of hides behind her staff at that. Goes behind Yasnip.
Give her a light little pat. It's fine.
Sorry, did I say something that I wasn't...
A little bit, Sarah. Let's go.
I'm already walking.
Ooh.
I'm going to.
All right. Well, where are you guys headed?
South.
Following the footprints south.
Following the trail.
Following the trail.
Yep.
Okay.
On the trail.
Trails.
All right. You guys continue to follow these two particular trails, and as you go, it is crossed over and sometimes joined and sometimes disperses with other trails. And eventually, you reach the edge of the city, the southernmost edge of the city. And you can see now off to either side a little bit, and a few up ahead of you, between you and the Dark Lock, a few crops. And then in the distance, closer to the horizon, not far, is the Dark Lock itself. And you all remember it from riding across the ferry, and the paths seem to continue in that direction.
Now, I'm not one to often say that I'm a fucking genius, but this is pretty fucking genius, alright? I'm just... Vanna, come on, give me something here.
I'm still walking.
Still walking.
Don't shake your head at me. I put all of my brain into this, and now
To
I get
take
none
us
of the
to the lake?
recognition.
To take us to the lake, I wanted to go to the lake.
Yes, but the last time you wanted to go to the lake, you just wanted to go for a swim, and that was a terrible mistake.
We might have to.
That is not in... Oh, God. See, now you've got her all excited. Look, there are methods in which we can travel underneath the lake, where I believe we may find these creatures.
Vanna's already walking.
Yeah.
Everybody, I'm assuming that everybody's walking.
it's just
we're
walk
kind of
talk.
walking, yeah.
So you tell
let's
me
walk
otherwise.
talk.
If the proper amount of finesse is applied, we can avoid getting into the water entirely, and perhaps just getting ourselves into the caverns below.
How does
Sarah,
one get into water properly?
Well, no, we're not getting into the water at all. There are caves
Like this!
at the side of the lake that...
Oh no.
Did you jump in the water?
No, you guys aren't that close
Yeah.
to it yet.
No.
Oh. I was like, really?
Whoa. I'm sorry, your genius plan you were explaining?
Right, so... in order for me to be, quite frankly, any kind of remotely useful, I need to get away from the water, which seems counterintuitive given the...
You're
You
made
know?
of water.
Right.
Kind of hard to get away from yourself sometimes, I understand.
Yes, I often... Anyways, Get it put on
Salt
blast.
shaker.
God. we're
Brightwing
gonna have
is
to
just
have
looking-
talks about this.
This conversation is just going over Brightwing's head. She's just like, does not know.
I just think that if we can avoid the water so that I'm not a completely worthless douchebag right now, that
You
would
already
be
are.
greatly appreciated. Shut up, Vanna! We will get to you in a second, miss. I'm not going to cast any spells while these horribly dangerous creatures start attacking us.
I didn't.
One,
love you.
one thing
That's
that
right.
raises question. You're talking about getting rid of the water, or away from the water. It's currently raining. Does
Right,
that change
but
much?
no, it doesn't. So long as I'm
No,
not
he has a thing. He has a thing.
Oh my god.
Hey, Matt.
Yes.
In this bickering,
Mm-hmm.
can I like deter that if they are like siblings or if they are just close friends?
Right check.
Okay.
Hey, inside check, let's go!
I know exactly how to answer this.
It's
19.
19? I
You
mean,
could
one
tell-
of you two can answer it.
You could tell by the bone structure and the contempt. They are siblings.
Yes!
Vanna's really pissed off at her little brother right now.
I knew it. I see the sibling rivalry. Is that the proper terminology? In
That
your
is, in
there's-
fact, the appropriate term.
Thank you.
Eclipse
I
says that
wouldn't
without
call it-
hesitation.
I wouldn't call it a rivalry per se, but you know, we like poking fun
I
and occasionally
I have
elbows
never
to chest.
I've never poked the fun before. But I suppose we can do it while we are going under the water.
That is actually
like her.
exactly the. I honestly thought I would never see two Vannas in one place, but here we are.
Isn't it wonderful?
It is my worst
How-
nightmares realized. It
How can
is-
we be two people when we look different?
We are going to move on from this conversation and get back to that once we've. Oh, look, we're at the lake. How convenient.
And now we're
Roughly.
Italian.
Roughly, yes. You guys
Ah.
reach the
Making
edge
us
of the
up.
lake. So some of you notice this riding in, and you kind of can make it out now as well. There are various points around the lake where the water just kind of meets the earth, and you could walk right in. And then there are other points where there are little like cliffs or overhangs of earth, and under them are like rock faces, and in some of those rock faces you see like darker holes, as if maybe they might tunnel down.
Is there like the same sort of quiet that was in the city, like in one of these areas?
In terms of like natural quiet,
No, that kind of death quiet that was going
yeah,
around.
unnatural quiet, I guess.
Yeah,
I should
the
say.
unnatural
Quiet of nature is what I
Yeah,
meant
yeah,
to
yeah.
say. Yes, yes. And I would say to a degree, like, you saw some animals in the city, but you saw more animals out here, like amongst the crops, around the lake when you first came, and you see and hear still nothing in a close proximity of you guys.
This is very concerning.
Vanna is going to slightly walk into the water.
Okay.
Up to
Um,
like maybe like below her knees. But like
Okay.
she's walking in. She's gonna try to like feel the mojo.
Vibe check the
nature
water.
vibe check.
Yeah,
She's trying to
yeah.
like vibe check, yeah.
Let's go.
I like vibe check nature. It's the best.
All right. Roll a nature check.
I was gonna say new insight check call. Vibe check? Vibe check?
I checked on nature.
Yeah.
What did you roll? I'm not on roll 20. Did you yet?
That's a natural one, Matt.
Oh.
Oh
Ooh.
my god.
The water vibe checks you.
All right.
The water
and you
slaps
kind
in
of
the
go
face.
You go in at one of these points where the earth meets the water, so you're not climbing down anything.
No. Just walking in.
Okay. You step in kind of up to your knees, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I will say is you followed those two trails, and they kind of reached this same point, and then you also saw, as you arrived here, or you see it now as you walk up to the edge of the shore, a couple other trails meet up with them and lead to this point where you're stepping in. You step in and you take a few moments to nature vibe check. The level of unnatural that seems to surround you or these trails or this general environment right now is really unsettling and putting you off even before you vibe check the water, and it kind of like you catch on that and can't really feel anything further that you might have been able to. As you kind of step across, you do feel like a small scale form against your ankle, and it kind of like moves across and then away a little bit.
Absolutely not. No.
Kind
no,
of feels
no.
like what a fish would feel like, which you've probably felt before. In fact, you certainly have felt before, but didn't like move across your ankle like you would expect.
I look down. Is that
Okay.
thing dead?
It's very murky and very dark, so do you want to like push through the water a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. You push. Roll investigation check. Actually.
Roll investigation check for someone that's gonna pull you into the water like Star Wars.
Hey!
Crash monster.
15.
Okay. It does not take you long before you find what feels like a fish, and it does not quickly squirm away from you like you've always experienced fishes to do. Do you want to pull it out?
Yeah.
It's dead.
Is it like nasty dead or is it just dead?
It's probably like fish has been out for a day level of nasty. Like it's not horrifically rotting in on itself, but
Yeah, but it's not great.
yeah, it doesn't look like it was freshly killed.
Okay.
It looks like it's been a little bit longer than that, and it does not smell good.
I think she's gonna get out of the water.
Okay.
So the paths that we were following crossed into the location where she went in?
Yes, the two paths that you were following kind of led you to this sort of, we'll call it a bit of beach. It's not sandy, but kind of the edge of where the water meets the earth. And you seem to you see now at the edge of it a couple other trails that seem to kind of converge there, and then you kind of lose them as it hits the water. There is a one of those overhanging cliffs off to the left, like 20 or 30 feet away from where you guys meet the water here.
Can I inspect that area to see if there's any disturbed pathways leading near that section?
Oh, sure. So you're gonna have to kind of like rock climb shamble a little bit to get sort of further around on this cliff face.
Okay.
Okay. Roll an athletics check, and then an investigation check.
Athletics is 12.
Okay.
Investigation, not good. 4.
Okay. What are the rest of you guys going to do while he's doing this? And Vana is picking up dead fish.
When I leave the lake, do my legs look okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I begin to attempt to locate the path that we took the night before?
Yeah. I'll say roll a history check with advantage because it was so recent.
Bet. So it begins. He said history.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck me. 13.
13. 13 is enough. You just kind of needed to like get the lay of the land and kind of harken back. It was like late evening, so it was kind of towards sunset when you came here originally. but you kind of scan around while Yasnib is climbing and Vana is fish retrieving. And you do see the place where you believe you kind of made your little excursion. It's maybe like 500 or 600 feet around the perimeter of the lake to your left.
Hey, Vana.
Hey, Seraph.
That's the cave we took earlier, right? I'm pretty sure.
Do I know if it is or not?
Yeah, with him pointing it out, you recognize it's probably the same place you guys went to.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you think it would be worth retracing our steps, maybe, and seeing whether or not that leads to anything?
I think so, but we should probably bring something like a light source.
Right, that was a problem last time, wasn't it?
It was very dark.
Maybe, and this is just a suggestion.
Don't
this
get in the
time-
water. Shut up.
See, I don't have to say anything. You already know. It's great.
It's
You're
like earthing.
learning. You're learning.
Eclipse, what are you doing?
I guess I'll check around and see if the trail goes anywhere else. Because I know it converges here, kind of, but has it like split off in another direction? Like maybe some of them went one way, some of them went the other way.
Okay, roll roll a survival check, actually. While you're doing that, Yasnip, you gingerly make your way in kind of like a sideways rock climb situation. It's not incredibly difficult, but it's like, you know, a bit of mossy rock and it's kind of steep, and so you have to find your footing carefully. Around the bend of this cliff face, maybe 10 or 15 feet, just out of sight of the kind of area where you guys had walked up to the shore, you see a opening in the side of the cliff face that's maybe 4 to 5 feet in diameter and seems to open towards like a small cave or tunnel that goes downwards and curves a little bit out of your sight. Eclipse, what'd you roll?
18.
Okay. Oh, that's another 18 survival. 2 18 survivals for you. Yeah, so you give a good once over to the tracks in this area. It's a little bit difficult because there are a number of tracks that seem to come from a number of creatures from a number of directions, and you do, with an 18, get the sense that there are several groupings of tracks moving away from this spot, and then several more coming back to this spot, and seem to be a little bit fresher, the ones coming back.
Okay, so this is definitely like this is the point, is basically where I'm figuring out.
It does seem like this is a point of convergence for these trails.
Okay. Great. Hey, did we figure out how we're getting down there? Cause this seems like the place.
Yep, that cave right over there. That is where we went before. I figure it would probably yield a positive result. So, I think that's a great place to start, no?
And you've gone that way? It's
Yes, it is a little steep, but you know, it's not too bad.
so it's a lead. I'll take it.
About this time, Yasnip will get back.
Yep.
There's a cave over there.
Very good, Yasni.
About 4 or 5 feet in diameter.
Is there something you want to share with the class, Seraph?
No, it's fine. It's fine. Just you know, it's okay.
No, you seem upset. What is it?
We will talk about this later. I do not like you.
I think she was just trying to get what you were trying to say. I don't
Yes.
see how
No.
that is a very
No.
way to dislike someone.
She is being exceptionally facetious and on purpose. And then, like I said, we will talk about this later.
I
Alright.
just don't like it because she's acting like you.
I will shoot you. You understand?
You haven't shot me yet.
Yet being the key word, friend.
With respect to the nature conversation once more, is
Cave, yes.
this the
Let's go to
best?
the cave.
Is the cave the way to go?
I mean, technically, Vanna and I can just walk into the lake and see what's going on, because neither one of us really has issues with the whole breathing thing underwater. The problem is that it's very dark, and we don't have a prominent light source, so it seems highly unproductive to do that.
You cannot see. You cannot see.
Not when it is dark.
Are you saying you can actually look down into that lake and see things?
You cannot do that. That is.
These people.
That is very.
I would think
I'm
this is
sorry.
incredible stuff. This is
I have
insane.
never. My people all we travel in dark all the time. It's very strange that you do not.
Well, I barely travel at all.
To be fair, the same for me. Very recent, but you cannot see in dark.
No.
She's bewildered by this.
So the tracks go to the water, cave nearby. I heard stories of this area of winding tunnels that always intersect with each other, but at some point water will likely become an issue if we're going down.
Well, I mean, we went pretty far, and we didn't see any prominent issues regarding water, but who knows? Maybe once we get deeper, it's a whole fucking ocean down there. Who knows?
All right.
Um,
We go down then.
I think so. If you want me to scope it out, I think I can do something.
By all
If-
means. If you think
Yeah.
you have a very I don't know the term for in your.
Vanna's gonna kind of walk into the water again. She's
Okay.
gonna take off everything precious to her.
Okay.
She's gonna give Seraph her staff and probably her outer cloak. She'll leave on the shore. She's gonna walk into the water and she's gonna concentrate really hard. And then she's gonna use wild shape and like pop into a fish.
Oh shoot!
Dang!
It's gonna get
Okay.
sketchy. Okay.
Let me
Okay.
check something real quick.
I did.
Do fish have dark vision?
I
Question
believe
mark.
they do. That's what I'm
Yeah.
checking.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, the most
That's
generic
underneath.
fish monster is a quipper, and it has dark vision. All right. Okay. What kind of fish?
Oh, what kind of fish? I feel like she's gonna be just like a nice, what's a swamp fish? Let's do a striper.
Okay.
I'll just be a nice striped
I'm
bass.
trying to think
All
back
right.
to Animal Crossing.
It's a sea bass.
Okay.
It's always a sea bass.
It's true.
So you all watch Vanna step in again. Seems to not have learned her lesson from the first time, and then all of a sudden, whoop, around where her midsection was, there is a fish, hovers in the air for a cartoon half second, and then plops into the water.
I feel like it's like.
Yep.
Oh, here we go.
Care to explain
Um,
that one?
It's
Your sister Kareha.
it's
Sarah,
an endearing personality trait.
Sarah, if you've never seen this shit before.
That's true.
Oh, I haven't?
No.
This is the very
Okay.
first time.
Nope.
It's an endearing personality trait?
Well, here's what I'll say to you guys. You would have seen this before, but not from her.
Oh, okay.
I think you would know what
Would
I mean.
I have seen this from other people? I'm assuming that some of my people were
Yes.
probably.
Yep.
Okay, cool, sweet. Then
You
it's
would
not
have
you.
seen things like this.
Then I will turn to Seraph and go, Is your sister Kawea?
I'm sorry, Kawada?
Kawea.
Kowea.
Yes.
I have no idea what that is, so I'm going to say no.
It's very curious. I thought that it was only of my people. Very rare gift for my people, but she did not have any markings of a Kawea Kia on her.
Well, I mean, she is her own creature, as I have surmised. So, what she's capable of, I'm still not quite able to understand myself.
Very, very
Vana,
interesting.
what would you like to do as a fish?
I want to see if I can get to the bottom of that lake.
The whole lake?
She's gonna
The
die.
whole freaking lake.
Okay.
Oh
Seven
no.
in-game hours later.
Okay, roll a perception check for starters.
Oh my god! I'm rolling such shit. That's an 8. Fuck me.
Oh, no.
Okay. All right. So as soon as you plop down into the water, what you notice is that the lake weeds, kind of the vegetation, if you will, of the bottom of the lake, which is only about a foot deep where you are, seems similarly wilted and blighted to what you have seen up on land.
Okay.
You start swimming towards the center of the lake, though. You want to kind of make your way downwards, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you start swimming that direction. It begins to slope downwards, and then that slope kind of becomes exponential, if you will. So it's not like a 45-degree thing, but there's not just a sharp drop-off either. It's kind of an exponential curve downwards. You go 30 seconds, a minute and a half, and you've kind of now reached the steeper point of this curve, and you cannot see the bottom at all. You see slope downwards, and 60 feet or so away from where you are, it becomes blackness. This has been about a minute and a half. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. How long
get
would you
eaten.
want to keep going before turning back if nothing changes?
Oh. 10 minutes max.
10 minutes.
10 minutes max.
Okay. We'll get back to you. The rest of you up on the shore. Yasnip, by the way, I don't think I mentioned that you saw the cave, but I didn't say anything else. With your investigation check, which was not good, I believe it was a 4, you didn't see any specific signs of the creatures necessarily coming this way. All of the area around here is rock, and so the one kind of clue you guys have been able to follow, which is the wilted life, you don't see any of here, so it's hard to know for sure. You guys see Vanna go swimming off, or at least you hear her plop into the water, and she doesn't come out immediately. 3 minutes pass, 5 minutes pass. What do you guys want to be doing?
Brightwing, what happens if a koea is eaten by a larger fish?
I am not very certain. I do not have the ability to do this, but I believe that they revert back to their normal selves, depending on how in depth they are connected to their Koyakia.
Well, I suppose another possible benefit of this looming death is that there may not be any larger fish to swallow her?
Do I
That
recognize
will
any of
be
the terms that
fine.
she's saying?
Interesting question. Roll a... Actually, before I tell you what to do, Let me ask you a question that I don't know if we really fully touched on.
Okay.
In your time at home, given where you work,
Yeah.
how much would you have dived into that stuff when not like actively on duty?
Hmm. That's a really good question too. I would say probably baseline knowledge, not scholar level like my friend.
Okay. So you would like do some casual reading of things now and
Yeah.
then, but you're not like a hard study or bookworm.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I will say roll a history check with disadvantage.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, that's also fair. 4.
No. These words all sound foreign to you.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. That tracks.
Anybody else want to be doing anything specific as the time reaches 10 minutes now?
Well, I will share. I don't know if necessarily the cave is the best option. I didn't find anything over there that had any sort of a tracker or footsteps, anything of that sort. So if they went, it seems like they went through the water. And to go through a cave to try to get somewhere that they went through water seems like quite a bit of a gamble.
So the caves themselves seem to travel underneath the lake, which lends itself to the hypothesis that perhaps the caves and the lake itself are both connected at some point.
But it could be 10 feet, could be 3, 4, 10 miles.
That is distinctly possible, but if you propose that we instead try to swim to the bottom of the lake, like I believe my sister might be doing, I think you will find less luck of finding anything productive.
Well,
Perhaps if we enter the cave, we might be able to track where they are. Find scuffles and markings of travel.
perhaps.
Can I, while this 10 minutes is going on, like just sit down and just try to like connect to see if there is like a more of a certain way that the wilds might be pointing me towards?
Roll a nature check with disadvantage, given where you are and what's around you.
Oh,
right
that's very true. I'm not good at nature, actually, which is really funny.
now. It is. I might
Always the
even
case.
potentially talk
Okay.
to the two of our nature girls about switching that to wisdom because I think it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I'm not good at nature either.
For nature people, at least. Maybe we'll see.
11.
Yeah, the weight of unnatural and anti the wilds that is surrounding you right now and that has been for the last couple hours is suppressing or putting in shadow or pushing away the kinds of feelings you might normally get in that regard.
You see that she sits wherever a rock is and kind of puts her staff in her lap and kind of breathes in and connects. But after like a few minutes of like nothing happening, you see she's very deterred by that, not being able to connect to something.
Okay. Vana. After what amounts to, you probably figure a few minutes. And it's not all straight sprint. You're like going around a little bit looking for different avenues. Not everything is a pure funnel, so sometimes you're going up and over rocks but after what feels like a few minutes, which is a decent amount of time to be swimming downwards, you do find what seems to be the bottom of this lake.
Nuts.
Is there a
Anything weird?
hole? Is there a hole in the bottom of the sea?
Is there a hole? Is there
You
anything
looking for a
weird?
hole in the bottom of the sea?
I'm
In the
more
bucket?
just
In a boat?
I'm
There lies
In a boat? bumping along.
Yep.
I guess I'm just looking for like anything weird.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
Okay. All right, nat 20 plus
Wow.
5. So
Okay.
25 total.
All right. You spend a couple minutes doing like a brief fish scout of
Yep.
the bottom of the lake.
Scaling options.
You do see a lot of rocky like outcroppings down here. Not necessarily caves or holes in the bottom of the lake in any way. What does stand out to you is that the vegetation down here seems normal. And now that you think about it, it seems to become more normal the further away you got from the shore and the farther down you went.
Huh. Huh. Are there any like bones or like things down there?
Bones or like things?
Like physical objects or something? Does
What's
it look like what?
What's the total in your perception check?
25.
I would say that you find a decent number of like the bones, remnants of what might be fish eating other fish scattered around. You see a couple like lake-dwelling sort of ground creatures scuttle around a little bit. You probably would find a couple like pieces of copper or random baubles of things that you figure may have fallen off a ferry or a swimming person at some point, but nothing that stands out particularly as from the creatures or the kids or anything extremely fresh either. Most of what you find object-wise is like mossed over and mold.
Okay. Well, she will come back up.
Okay. So, that was about 5 minutes to get down and look around. So another 3 to 4 minutes to come back up, reaches roughly that 10-minute mark where you guys were reaching up top. And you see, well, I don't know. What do they see, Vanna?
I think they see the same fish kind of like bob up,
Uh-huh.
poke its little head out,
Bloop, bloop.
dunk back down, and then like I think like a bit of a wave, and then like Vanna just crawling out.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
How Japanese horror movie do you crawl out of the
How
lake?
Ringo is...
How scared am I right now?
Full on rig.
Oh,
Oh
God.
yeah, I pull out my
is-
spear as soon as that happens.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
I feel like she's still like out, like morphing out from.
Yeah,
being a
exactly. I'm
fish.
like,
It's pretty weird.
Be weird.
Okay. So I will say...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, as soon as you like fully come out of the water and you're kind of back to yourself, I think Brightwing will come up to you and just and sort of inspect your face, trying to like look in different areas just to see if there's any versions of scales or any sort of like animal features that you have.
Okay. Vanna, do you have any reaction to that?
Out of everyone in the group, she is most comfortable with Brightwing doing this.
Okay.
If Seraph did it,
And I'm her brother.
no. If Seraph did it, she'd be like, "Are you well? Are you physically okay?" But she's kind of like,
It's not like a like uncomfortable. It's more like a curiosity, just
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
be like,
yeah, and I feel like
Understand.
she's okay with Brightwing.
Okay. Brightwing, you find nothing odd. This Genasi skin coloration is pretty unique to you. You've seen it before a couple times, but it's not that common from where you come from. or the couple places you stopped. But you find no scales or strange animal features.
I've never.
And
Yeah.
I'll let you finish after I quickly note this for everybody else's appreciation. When Eclipse, I'm assuming you pulled your shield and your spear?
Yeah.
Or okay. When Eclipse reacts to this, you guys like have a whoa moment of this person knows what the fuck they're doing. It's like shield, spear over the shield. The spear is very large, looks heavier and larger than a typical person would wield with one hand, and figure that she could probably do a lot of damage with it. And it's a pretty threatening sudden motion.
It's put back when Brightwing gets it.
Yeah.
Are you certain you're not Kawea?
Pretty sure.
It's very curious to see someone with such a gift and not have a Kawea Kia to help shape it.
Well, I'm assuming that it is probably something similar to what I grew up with. Maybe? I don't think many people...
I'm not very sure how you grew up, but
In the
If someone-
swamp.
in a swamp.
Yes.
I grew up in a forest. Very similar indeed. And yet you bear no markings of a Kawea Kia on you.
No. I grew up with a group of people who were more just stewards of the earth. We were all sorts of people.
You also protect the way of the wilds.
I think so, but probably not in the same way.
Interesting. And she's still like uncomfortably close because she does not understand social cues.
Mm-hmm.
Vanna, did you find anything?
So, I didn't,
Okay.
which is the interesting thing. But,
Okay.
the farther down I swam, more life returned. The very bottom of the lake had healthy foliage and creatures.
Well, that means we can rule out them emerging from the lake then. We should proceed with the cave.
Guess you get to stay out of the water.
I can be useful.
Okay, Roy Mustang. Let's go.
She points to you. She points to your sister. Can you turn into animals as well?
Oh no, that is purely a my weird sister does this kind of thing. I'm a bit more what the kids call, I guess, edgy.
He did
Don't
not
worry,
stay home.
we'll get to that.
Why would they call you edgy if there is no edge on you?
That's funny you mentioned that actually.
Look at
because
his jawline, it is so sharp.
chiseled like a fucking rock.
Speaking of rocks, we should get going to this
I
cave.
agree.
That's
Yes,
an amazing call. Yes, please get me out of here. I hate this conversation.
No, you dug this hole, but we should get going.
In train 1 second. Don't talk to me for a second.
Oh no. Quick,
Brightwing,
everybody have a conversation with Brightwing.
Bright?
But yeah, so I head towards the cave with this information.
Same.
I'm assuming, since I'm in the lead, I can pull out my lantern and fire it up.
You're muted.
You
Oh,
are
no,
super
muted.
duper
Oh,
muted,
no,
you
muted.
nerd.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome
You
to
can.
Aanthara.
You
Okay.
get the having watched Yaznip do this little climb, you get the sense it might be difficult to make that climb with the lantern, and it's still daylight out here, so it might be
Oh,
something.
I mean when we get there.
Yeah. All right, sure. So I will say, with Yasnip kind of pointing out the route he took, everyone make an athletics check with advantage.
Okay.
Why do you keep making me roll athletics, Matthew?
Yeah. You're off by the end of this campaign, Sarah.
You were gonna get me jacked. I got
That's
a
an 8.
15. Oh fuck!
No, you.
It's with advantage.
Yeah.
Oh, it's with advantage?
Yes.
Advantage.
From the help
Oh.
of Sarah.
Then
I'm
that's
so
an
glad
18.
that it was, because I have a -2 to my athletics, and I rolled a natural 1 and a natural 19.
Okay, that was,
Oh my
that
god!
was about to get intense.
Leah, I rolled a natural 19 too.
We're the same
Wow,
person.
wow,
So
wow.
Hey, Darthas! Okay. And
16.
Eclipse?
25 total.
Wow. And you said 16, Yasnip?
16, yeah.
And Seraph, did you say?
15.
15. Okay. You guys make this sort of shimmy climb pretty smoothly, and now for the first time, step a little bit into this cave, because Yasnip kind of just clocked it and came back. And it does seem to head downwards and then curve a little bit. It is small. You guys, most of you, in fact, all of you, I think, will have to crouch a decent amount.
Oh boy.
Eclipse, you want to light up your lantern?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You kind of get under the lip of the cave, light up your lantern, and you want to head down.
Yes.
Everybody else is
So,
going to follow. Anything else anyone else wants to do?
I think at this point, Seraph is going to go ahead and reach into his coat and just pull out Bloodlust, which is essentially this heavily engraved pepper box with 5 chambers, very eloquently designed with a sort of hooked blade-like appendage just coming off of the end of the grip and kind of sloping back towards his arm, and he's just sort of inspecting it.
Right when he's just staring at it, no one
Yeah.
idea what the frick that is.
Yes, I was going to say for the characters' information. Now that the person who has one has pulled it out, Eclipse and Yasnip, both of you would have seen some of these throughout your travels, and when you saw it on Mayor Maddock, you recognized what it was. Brightwing, you have no idea what this thing is. Absolutely no clue. It looks weird. It's like a kind of a backwards dagger where the handle doesn't make any sense because you're holding it by these fat barrels that are too big for a hand. It makes no sense, but it looks very pretty. And you guys head down?
Use that with one hand, right?
Yes.
Good. I'm gonna pop a torch into his other hand and light it.
Okay.
Saving me a lot of time. Thanks. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Wait. I don't really know what it is either. It just like uses it.
It's very
I think it is magical.
interesting. Why would someone carry around a very bejeweled thing? It seems very prestigious.
That's what I thought, but he has always been the more glamorous one.
I mean, yes, I am objectively more glamorous, but that is not the point. This is a very practical...
This is not their conversation. Go away.
Are you like stuck between the two of them still? It's basically just talking around you.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's really helpful.
I'm sitting in the middle seat, and the
Yes.
aisle of window seat
Yep.
people are just leaning over me to talk.
Yep.
You know? It's the best.
Oh my gosh.
Specifically, the aisle seat is like across you.
Yes.
Is it like when you when you like turn the corner, a sharp corner, and you just like bang the person in the middle as hard as you can? Yes. Oh man,
God.
sibling life is for real.
All right.
It's my life.
Amidst this convo, you guys are going to make your way down.
Yes.
Okay. You guys
Eclipse, how
start
well
to...
can you see?
Oh, me?
Yes. Beyond light.
I believe.
You do have dark.
I am a bit adept in the dark. Pitch black is obviously a problem, but I should be alright.
Very good.
All right. You guys start to wind your way down, like hunched over, dripping water. Some of you from yourselves, but otherwise from the surroundings, and start to walk your way down this tunnel. And we will take a break
Ooh.
for 5 minutes and 12 seconds.
Thank
5
you,
minutes,
5.
12 seconds. I'm doing it this time, Matt. Can't
Aha!
stop me.
Mm,
Area code 512 is the city of Austin, Texas.
Oh!
There you go.
Okay,
Wait,
good
what?
one.
What? What?
Keep
We're
Austin.
taking a break for 5 minutes and 12 seconds, which
Yes.
is 512.
I
And
was
then we
like,
do
this
I
little
thing
recognize
where we
that.
find
I
the
recognize that
area
area
code.
code. I was like, that's a
Yeah, see, it's fun.
Keep Austin weird,
All right.
guys.
Keep Austin.
Are we on time right now?
Absolutely.
I'll start it right now. It is started.
Okay,
Alright, I'm right back.
beautiful.
I'm gonna get some water.
All right. We are back. So, your group of newly met, I won't even call them friends yet. In fact, one of them seems to mainly dislike another, but companions start this descent. It winds kind of back and forth a little bit as you go, but it seems to generally have a rightward and downward curvature. Not like so steep downwards that you're having to watch your footing or anything, but you can tell that you're moving downwards pretty consistently. And the sounds of the storm fade behind you, and the sounds of cavern, tunnel dripping takes its place. And you continue down with your lantern and torch lighting the way for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, about half an hour of this winding descent. You really more or less lost a strong sense of where you would be, but you know it is a good bit of ways from where you started. Would anyone have anything they want to do particularly or say while you guys are making this descent?
I will.
Go ahead.
Do I get the same sensation that I got the night before?
Right now, not in the active way that you have felt it previously.
Okay.
There is a general, like, the best word for it is probably creepiness to what is going on right now, what you're trailing, where you are and where you've been, that is a little bit unsettling, but you're not getting that active sense that you got. No.
Okay.
Someone else had something?
I was gonna say I'm asking Seraph for any insight or directions if the path breaks at some point.
And I would actually like to keep a lookout for insects or bats or underground wildlife that might be dead.
Mm-hmm.
If it extends that far.
Okay. Roll a perception check.
12.
Okay. Despite the tiny bat sound you're hearing every once in a while in this cave audio thing, with a 12, you don't notice any. You don't necessarily feel like you're not as in tune with nature and animals and things as a couple others are who have had a striking feel of that absence, but you don't notice any with a 12. I will say to the nature girls, which is what I'm going to call you for now, with your passive perceptions, you don't have to roll a check to continue to get that sense that there is not any sign of life here.
Just rocking out now, I guess.
Yeah,
I think
apparently.
when they go underground, you see the more bright clutches her staff.
Okay. All right. After about half an hour, you guys reach the tunnel, which, by the way, to Eclipse's point about asking Seraph, it did not open off or split off in any places. It seemed to be a singular tunnel.
Okay.
But
I feel
eventually,
like-
yeah, go
I
ahead.
feel like Vana would be like, I was in front of him, by the way.
Oh, this was
Just
just
so
if
you
it ever branched off. If it didn't, she was not saying anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Trying to fucking...
But thank you for the clarification. I will keep that in mind.
Oh my god. My life is just miserable.
All right. After about half an hour, the tunnel suddenly opens into what appears to be a small cavern. To Seraph and Vana, it is not unlike the cavern that you got to when you had your little excursion. It's a little smaller, but it is maybe 40 or 50 feet in diameter. There are stalagmites and stalactites down here. There is a smell of mildew and earth, deep under the earth, and a tinge, a very small tinge to probably just a couple of you of decay that is faintly mixed in with the smell of this cave. And there is a small pool amidst what is mostly rock. There's bits of earth here and there, but mostly rock. It's about 10 to 15 feet in diameter, sort of towards the back of this cavern. And that's what you guys see as you enter.
Have
What
you
would you
been
like?
down to this point?
This is farther than we went before, right, Vana?
Is it farther than we've gone before, or is it just a different cave?
It's more like it's a different cave. It's probably... It feels probably about the same length that you guys trekked down to previously. Like, give or take 10 minutes. You don't know if there's a full series of caves that's specifically this far down, or if it's just coincidence, but it was around that long before you found the cave you found. But it is definitely a different cave.
I'm not sure if it is further, but this is certainly not the same one to before.
No, this is a different one. But there. Excuse me, mildew. This is rather similar to the place that we discovered before.
It is smaller though.
Should we try to see if there's any trace of the children around?
And I begin investigating.
I
Okay.
will assist.
Okay. You can roll a investigation or survival. I'll let you pick with advantage.
While they're doing this, Vana's gonna do the classic Vana, the weird pool of water.
I'm sorry, was that just a straight roll of
No,
investigation or
advantage.
survival? Okay.
Vana, you said you're going down in it, the pool?
No, going over to it. She's not going in.
Okay. Okay.
She's just going
Yet.
Yeah. I got a 13 survival.
13?
Yeah.
Okay. You make kind of a cursory inspection of the floor of this cavern, and it's pretty decent size, so it takes some time. There is one area that, and it's kind of towards the center, a little bit back towards the that pool, but more in the center of the cavern, where there's a dirt patch where you pick up some of the tracks again. What you've been walking on most of the time has been so much rock that you haven't really seen them. There's kind of this little patch of dirt that does reveal a bit to you. It's honestly a mess with a 13. It's hard to make out like how many, the depth, what else was there. You do see it like some scuffing, so it's not just a hard firm prints. There's like some scuffing or swiping or dragging a little bit, but it's just seems like a little bit of a cluster mess of tracks. But it does show some sign of, and like a few places that you can see a clear print. It does match the creatures you saw above, so it does seem to be a sign potentially of some of them. You don't know if it's specifically the ones you're tracking or others, but
And
you find
it's a
that.
patch of dirt. It's
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna point out it. Anyone want to try their nature trick again? It looks like they've been here.
What do you mean nature trick?
She kind of makes like the flower bloom motion.
Oh! Sure.
I step out of the way.
Yeah, so Vana will go over and use another charge. This time she is going to try to conjure a poppy.
Ooh. Oh.
Okay. Same bud, growth, full bloom, and then wilt. Follows the same path. And I will say, as you kneel down with your passive perception and you create this flower and then watch it die, you can notice just off to the right a small tuft of white.
They were here. There's fur.
I immediately go to where the
Yeah,
fur is.
we're on it. It's like, yeah.
It does seem to be a very small tuft of white fur.
Do I can deter that this is probably from a rabbit person?
Yes, given
Okay, sweet.
you and your background, yes. It looks like rabbit fur, rabbit folk fur.
They were definitely here. Is there a trail?
Are you asking me then, or are you asking your companions?
I
that?
guess it just DM is. Do I see a trail?
You don't see a trail specifically. What you do see, with Eclipse pointing out the area and Vana making the little flower in it, is this same sort of patch of scattered dirt with mess of tracks in it, and that's where this tuft of fur is. But you don't see a specific trail, and there's not a bunch of what should be life in here that is blighted away that has given you that clue to follow.
Is it simply like the trail gone cold, or they just like stopped moving and disappeared?
There's just nothing that would have been living that is now dead to show you where they would have gone. And there's not a clear direction away from this patch of dirt anywhere that shows you where they might have walked either. It mostly is rock around this area, so it's hard to tell.
How big is the cavern?
Yeah.
Roughly 40 or 50 feet in diameter.
I'm
Do
gonna
we-
try and make a perimeter around the thing to see if there's any trace of like going somewhere else.
Okay.
Do we see any visible exit ways?
I will say Vana roll a perception check, and Brightwing roll a investigation check if you're like closely inspecting the walls. If you want to do something else, you can tell me that.
Matt, that'll be a nat 20 again. 25.
I'll do investigation because it's what I'm doing. I'm just not good at it. So. I got an 11.
Okay. It takes you maybe about a minute, Brightwing, to make a round of the walls. You don't find any like odd passages away, or I should say, obvious passages away. It seems to be mostly rock face. Vana, with your natural 2025, right? You basically do and you have dark vision, right?
No. But we have the...
but there's
No,
light. Yeah. There's
Yeah,
light.
but we have the...
And I would say you guys are like standing, and she's. Who has the lights? Let me ask that.
Sarah
You have a
has
light
one.
roughly in the middle of the cave, I assume. And Eclipse, you have the other.
Yeah.
Okay. So it kind of casts light pretty much to the walls, actually. And so you kind of do a similar scan from where you're at in the center, and same thing. You see stone walls, some dripping, stalactites above, stalagmites below. No exit.
Can I line up the pathway that we took down? If I stand on the far side of the dirt patch, I'm going to look directly from where we came, and then do a full 180 and see what's directly behind me. As
So you
if
want to face where you came from,
I want to face where we came from,
and then do a 180.
and put the dirt patch in between me
Okay.
and where we came from, and then look
Yep.
directly behind me.
You're looking at the back wall, and if you follow it to the ground, probably like the leftward or the left 5 feet or so of that pool.
Well, I think it might be the point that you become useless. Kind of looking towards Seraph.
That is unfortunate news.
Unless any of you found anything.
I'm afraid there is no exit around.
Well, if they walk straight from the decline across this point, then it kind of lines up with the pool.
Fauna's gonna walk over to the pool.
You were.
I
You wanna
were.
look- yeah, you had. Do you want to look down in there?
I do.
Okay.
Can I see shit?
Not really. It is dark.
Alright. I'm gonna do my little shape water cantrip.
Okay.
And with that I can change the water's color or opacity. So I'm going to make it clearer.
Wow.
Mm.
So
Okay.
smart.
How much? Like 5? Is it 5 foot square? Something like that?
It's a
5 foot
5
cube, I
foot
think.
square. Yeah, 5 foot
Yeah.
cube.
5
Yeah.
foot cube. Okay. And where are you doing it? Are you doing it like in the center, at where you're standing, like against the ground or the rim?
Well, the pool's not very big, is it?
It's about 10 or 15 feet across. I'd say 12.
Okay. So I'll put it where I probably think. I'll put it a couple feet away from where I am, more towards the center.
Okay. Okay. And if anyone else is standing around, they can see this also.
I'll walk
The-
to the water too.
About
Yeah, I'd probably
5
walk to the water.
Okay. About 5 feet of water suddenly turns into Fiji, beautiful, clear.
Oh, hell yeah.
As it happens, neither of the two who are holding the lights have said if they've come over here. I don't know if you guys are. It's up to you.
I have dark
I
vision.
mean,
And there's a general glow that is reaching here. But from what you can see,
yeah.
the clear water eventually reaches about 5 feet down and becomes dark again.
I
Is
see
it-
beyond that.
Is it
with
dark
my-
like dark or dark like murky?
Both. It's
Okay.
generally dark in here, aside from your guys' lights, obviously. Lee or Brightwing. Yeah, you can see with your dark vision, and so can a couple of the people who've stepped up, I think, to the bottom. It looks to be about 20 feet deep.
I am
Roll a
not
perception
there.
check,
Oh gosh.
since you said you're looking specifically.
I'm gonna do this guidance because I forgot that I have
Ah!
guidance.
You have guidance? What?
I do, and I just completely forgot that I had it. I was looking through my spell list and I was like, I have guidance. To be fair, I picked this a long time ago, so I forgot what I had. Oh. Oh, baby. Money. 28. Natural.
Wow.
Jeez.
Is that a natural 20?
No, it was a 19, but I got a +7 and I got a 2 on the d4.
Oh, yeah. Okay, guidance. Okay, so you see it go about 20 feet down, and on the back side of it, at the bottom, in roughly maybe like a 6 to 8 foot tall arch, you see an opening that seems to go towards where the cave wall is, away from where you entered.
I would say as she does this, all of you kind of feel like a rush of wind for a second, and you see kind of a little bit more feathers grow on her face for just a second while she's peering in and has more of an animal instinct of looking into the pool. It seems that there is a passageway down in about 20 feet down from the bottom.
I am going to take the bag that is on my hip and untie it and set it down somewhere dry. Who can swim?
I can.
Well, yes, we can.
Brightwing kind of looks at her feathers.
Are you like a goose? Do you have the waterproof feathers?
To be honest, I'm very unfamiliar with the type of bird, Makai is, so I am not very sure.
Then perhaps we should err on the side of caution.
I've never swam as deep as this before. And I am a poor fisherman.
This is going to go swimmingly.
Seraph, what if you and Brightwing stay here?
You seem very certain of this idea. Please go on.
Oh, no, because I am worried. Alright, because, okay. But what if you and Brightwing stay here, and then me and Yasnip, I'm guessing, wants to come for a swim, and then I'm not sure if...
Well, given this set of circumstances that have presented themselves before me, I would, yeah, I'll stay here and,
Okay.
You know, be productive.
What
Okay.
if you need to stand there? What is that?
Well-
Is that the connected passageways for the children? Will you come back and get us?
I will attach this rope and hand it to you, and I'm handing it to Brightwing. If we pull 3 times, it means come. If we pull twice, it means get us back out.
Alright. And she holds it in her very bony arms. She's not strong, guys. She just holds it.
And I'm going to wrap part of it around my waist and tie a knot.
Okay.
Well, Vanna's gonna take off her outer cloak again, put her staff down. Get ready.
I'm gonna look between the two parties that are clearly forming and basically who the hell needs the tank? Would you be more comfortable if I stayed? In case something ambushes from this way.
I think if something were to show itself, we would likely be able to handle it.
Okay.
I'm a bit more worried about, obviously not being able to follow my sister in. So the extra protection there would bring a bit of ease of mind.
If she's not able to see in the dark, maybe I should go alone.
I have to be honest, that doesn't seem like the wisest decision.
If we split, we should at least have someone. And I
Right.
have
Buddy system.
some way of communicating with you.
We
Should you get
communicate
out of the
through
water on
rope.
the other side. Yes. And I can help with the rope.
Fair.
Yes, the rope.
I guess.
So,
Can you swim well, Vanna?
I just turned into a fish.
Well, you're not a fish currently.
I grew up in the swamp. I'm a pretty good swimmer.
Alright, well, I'll look, and you can help swim.
I can also breathe underwater.
I can't.
Right, I feel like we should talk about that. You can't breathe underwater, so what? I mean...
It's kind of a... I don't know.
No, wait! I'll breathe and you can... Wait.
I'll breathe.
You breathe and swim and I'll look. There we go. Yes, this is a great
yes,
measure,
just
I
offload
believe.
all of the breathing responsibility onto her. That way you don't have to breathe. That's how
Right.
this works, right?
Okay.
I forgot. I'm sorry.
Are you guys going to go down there?
To at least see. If it's only 20 feet, I think I can hold my breath that long. But we need to see what's ahead of us, I think, is the important part. If there's no air pockets, then for those of us that can't breathe underwater, it's a little bit harder.
And I gestured to is the 5-foot cube still there? Like, is that how long does that last?
It lasts
Like the
an
clear
hour,
water.
I think, if it's
Yeah.
shaped water.
Okay. Can you do anything else besides clear the water?
Oh, yeah. I can freeze it. I can change the flow. I can move it.
If you move it away from him, can he breathe?
I'm not quite.
You know, away from him, so he can breathe.
Well,
if it comes to it.
Interesting.
well, because I could like do this, right? So
Okay.
She stands there and she kind of looks at the water again, and then it like in like a 5-foot. She's like, I can do that.
What did you do? It cut out.
It turns into kind of like an orb.
I can do that.
I think we have our solution.
No, because there's no air.
It doesn't part the water. It forms it. Well.
Understood.
Alright. Breathing and swimming check. Sight. If we live, we'll be alright. I'm gonna take a step into the pool.
Right before you do, guidance.
There it is, yeah!
Okay.
What a spell.
The water is very cold.
Ah, yeah.
Colder than it was up top. It is numbingly cold. All right. And it's a pretty instant and steep drop off, so it's not like you're going to walk in here. It's a jump or dive or flop.
I will jump in.
All right.
Lana's gonna beautifully dive like a swan.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm not going to make you roll for it because
I'm
you
good.
opened a swamp. You've done this a ton of times. It is a very nice dive. All right. And you're not bringing any light, but Yasnib, you can see. Vana, you cannot. Okay. Are you, speaking of which, Vana, are you going to like hold to him or hold the rope? Or are you just going to kind of try to swim and follow his motion?
I think she's probably gonna have a handle,
On the
right? Because he's attached to the rope.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she really wants to like touch him. I think she's a little about that.
That's fair. I will also say it's like, as you get down to the tunnel, it's maybe 6 feet in diameter. Once you get in, it's not big, so you could like follow along a wall if you wanted to and still be pretty close to him. And
Okay.
feel his motion.
Yeah, she's definitely gonna try to stick with him.
Okay. All right. You guys start swimming, and it is very cold and feels like it's almost getting colder. It feels like I mean, being in water, you should start to feel warmer as you get used to it. This is just really, really cold. Go ahead and each of you roll an athletics check for me.
Guidance.
So I'm gonna stand
Yes,
next to Brightwing while
Nothing
they're
you can use the
gone.
guidance, if you want.
And I'm gonna say, as soon as you feel anything, you can hand that to me.
It's probably a good idea. I'm not very known for being strong.
And I think with that, it is very self-conscious with that. She
Aw.
goes real small with that.
She's like, it's okay, we'll do it together.
Okay.
14.
10.
Ooh, okay. All right. You guys start swimming down this tunnel. It goes for 20, 30, 60.
Rope is 50.
Okay, you reach the end of the rope. and it looks like it continues ahead to you.
And from here, I can't. Can I make out anything? Does it bend upwards, to the left, to the right, down?
It is kind of swerving, so it's hard to see more than like 20 or 30 feet ahead. But it's not making any particular up or down motions, at least.
I am going to turn and try to swim back.
Okay. Vana?
I feel him swimming back, right?
Mm-hmm.
She'll probably just go with him then. There wasn't any there wasn't like any holes in the wall or anything that we could have gone.
There are some like small holes and offshoots and little tunnels and bits of rock that are fallen or carved away. Not big enough for you to easily swim through. This seems to be a clear tunnel that continues ahead. I will say, and don't necessarily let this change thing if this is your plan regardless, Yasnip, but you don't feel the burn yet of like running out of breath. You can go pretty far in D&D without running out of breath. And I'm not gonna, I don't like following exactly necessarily the rules, so there may be some things involved, depending on how far you try to go and how far this tunnel is, but you don't feel it yet. But if you want to turn back because it's been 60 feet and you have no more rope, 100% feel free to do that.
Yeah, the temptation to just take the rope off is there, but not gonna do that. So I will turn back.
You both make your way back.
Surfacing. Well, I went to the end of the rope and it's still a ways. No sight of air.
I mean, I also have a rope if that's a problem.
I have rope as well.
I feel like we're a bit beyond using rope at this point.
It might just be a committance at this point.
If you didn't see anything at 50, I think we'll be okay.
She goes back in.
Okay.
I will untie the rope.
Because, like, if someone said we don't need the rope anymore, she's okay.
Yeah.
I'll untie the rope and follow her.
Okay.
Does anybody have, like, fire magic or something? Or, you know, something heat-related or, you know...
I hold up the lantern, and I hold up a tinderbox.
Those are both going to be useless after we get out of the water. That's why I was suggesting like magic or something.
I'm not very sure if this is qualifies as flame,
but she holds out and like this sort of like I don't know how to describe it, but it's a sacred flame that goes into her hand.
All right, DM.
It does not create heat.
Fuck.
Damn.
She closes it. I am sorry. I might have a spell like that later, but I'm afraid I do not have.
It's fine. I just am going to have to improvise when it comes to having to murder things.
Why would one murder something?
Well, when one is trying to murder you, sometimes you have to murder them right back, you know? Circle of life or something.
You hear Vana just being like, fuck you, that's not what it is.
Regardless, this is a very water vulnerable piece of equipment, and so when it becomes submerged in water for long periods of time, it becomes useless. And it is my primary method of slaughter. So I don't really have anything else I'd be able to do should we come across danger.
Don't you still have my Yugla?
I passed it back to you, and while I do enjoy a good stabby stick, I prefer being able to stay a bit further back.
I feel like she would have left it there with her stuff.
Do I have a study tip?
I got to get the fucking stabby stick and put it in my pocket, and then put it. And then I'll get into the water very reluctantly, with the ambient glow of the two cylinders sort of lighting up the tunnel a bit.
Brightly is very cautious. When she goes in, because she does not think this is going to go very well for her.
Okay.
I will swim by Brightwing.
Okay. All right. You guys are going to swim down all together through this tunnel. Or at least that's the goal.
Did you get my stuff? Did you get my outer robe? Did you leave it there?
You didn't ask me to get it, so I didn't
No,
get
no,
it.
no, no. I'm asking you as Sean.
No, I didn't get it. You didn't ask for me to
Okay.
get it.
Okay.
If you want to have gotten it, knowing that the whole crew is coming down, we can say you did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
So you put your stuff back.
I will say that I will go first
Yes.
because
I'm okay with that.
I am going to be using Minor Illusion to cast, because it is semantic and material. There's no verbal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cast like rocky outcrops, and I'm going to swim into them because I can still see through it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And with that as a mention, if I see anything gnarly, and this is a DM question,
Mm-hmm.
I can create a voice. If I cast Minor Illusion right next to another person in the party as a voice saying there's something ahead, does it say there's something ahead or is it muffled?
One
And
second.
then- Same question, but about me and Seraph.
We can speak underwater, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, as
Yeah.
water
Yeah.
creatures, you should be capable of clear
Can
speech.
they hear us?
Yeah, they can
Yeah.
hear you to a degree. It's not like you're not speaking directly into their head, so it's like if you shout to someone underwater. It's easy for you guys to speak it because you are able to breathe the water, but it doesn't come across necessarily super clear. So if you're like
Oh.
20 or 30 feet away, it's going to be probably pretty hard for them to make out what you're saying. If you're
Okay.
very close, probably they can. And I would say that yes, Yasnip, you should be able to use mine. In fact, I would say that you can probably make a clearer voice than even they will be able to, because you'll be able to create it magically, like right in their ear.
Okay.
So yes, that would work.
So I will lead with creating illusions of rocky outcrops in front of me and swim into them. And an interesting thing is anybody that has dark vision that can see me, once that I go into the rock essentially becomes faded because you can visibly see that it's not actually there.
Oh. Oh.
So
Okay.
I will lead with that.
Okay. All right. This is going to be a skill challenge.
Oh, good. This will go well.
You don't know how long it's going to be,
Oh no.
but in order to make it through, you're going to have to pass a skill challenge. So, you can use something that you have described to me that you plan to be doing, or a place that you plan to be for this skill. If you want, just tell me how you want to use it, and I will tell you what to roll. So you guys make your way down. The rest of you who weren't in the water before feel the freezing cold water. It makes it harder to hold your breath because it almost takes it away. But you make your way down into the tunnel. Those of you who have dark vision can see. The others have to kind of work it by feel, either of the walls or the ripples ahead of them. But you begin to swim forward. Who wants to roll the first skill?
I guess the illusionary stuff, casting that maybe as a stealth.
Okay, yeah. I will say roll a stealth check.
That is a dirty 20.
That is a success.
Yay.
Okay, so you guys, it's a very strange, for those of you who can see, it's a very strange phenomenon to watch suddenly the tunnel close off with rock, and then Yasnet move through it, it dissipates, and he does it again. But it is, once you get over the weirdness of it, it is oddly comforting to see, or to know that you're obscured from ahead, and you're coming up on anything that might be there from a place of stealth. It's one success.
Since I'm swimming with Brightwing, and I want to make sure that she's keeping up with us, can I roll like an athletics check to make sure that I can keep her like going and that she's not dragging behind at all?
Okay, yes, with your dark vision and your strength, I would say that it'll be pretty easy for you to kind of serve as a helpful forward-moving power. So roll an athletics check.
Okay. So it says proficiency. Is that added to my check already, or do I have to add it on top of it?
In D&D Beyond?
Yeah.
If you have a black dot, it's already added in there.
Okay. Then
That would be your
that's
total.
a 22.
Wow. Okay, that is also a success, a rousing success. So there are some moments where, like, there's some cave vegetation growing in this sort of tunnely river pool thing that seems to catch on bits of Brightwing, and you're able to either pull them off or pull her through. A couple other points, you're able to help push someone over like a piece of rock, and you keep the motion going firmer than it would have been.
Important question. Is
yes.
the vegetation alive?
Yeah, that one.
It is not like the horrible like complete death and decay and blight that you've seen. It's like you can't really see color down here, but like lightly wilted.
Okay.
Alright.
To a degree. It seems like that decay effect or that blight effect, but dampened maybe.
Okay.
One more check.
Yeah, go ahead, water people.
Oh,
Let's not let the bird do this.
I'm trying to figure out how to contribute to this, honestly.
I'm trying to think too.
Well, I think I have something, but...
So I guess...
I mean, I have something if you don't think it would work.
I mean, I think it would work.
Okay.
So Vana is going to be... She can't see, right? But she is a pretty good swimmer and can breathe, right? So I feel like she is probably able to use her hands and like her feet and her whole body to kind of like feel around as if there are things that would A, be detrimental to their progression, or B, like things that could help them get through clues, variety of things.
Okay. Yeah. So you're kind of trying to feel a guiding path to a degree.
Yeah.
All right. And more towards the front, near Yasna.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
19.
Okay.
Yay!
That is all right. You guys swim for what becomes 50 feet where the rope ended, 100 feet, 200 feet, 400 feet.
Oh.
This tunnel goes quite a ways, and Yasnip, you are now starting to feel the burn for sure. The skill challenge is a success. Yasnip, I would ask you to roll a Constitution check.
Oh, it's Constitution. Okay. That
A
makes
check,
sense.
not a saving throw.
Yes.
3.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
So, you reach... At this point, you don't even know distance, but the time feels like... I mean, even you've lost a good sense of time. It could have been 30 seconds, it could have been 2 minutes, it could have been 5 minutes. It's really hard to tell. For those of you who've been underwater long enough to know, you highly doubt it's 5 minutes because you couldn't hold your breath that long, or at least most of you can't, per standard D&D rules. But after quite some time, Yasnip, you start to feel the burn hurt, and you begin to feel an urge to breathe that almost becomes uncontrollable. As you reach that point, you see a faint violet glow ahead of you. And there is a small curve upwards.
I am going to drop the rock formation, turn back towards the group, and cast Running Out of Breath, Violet Ahead, so that they can hear it, and start going towards the light.
Okay, make an athletics
quick
check.
as I can.
Yep.
No, don't go towards the light.
The light at the end of the tunnel.
17.
17. Okay. You all see Yasnip turn. You hear this sound. It's probably you cast it somewhere in the middle of them, so all of you hear it at a little bit varying degree of clarity. But you hear what he says, and then he jets forwards and up. With that athletics check, I will say that you make it forward and up, and just as you reach the very end, your face breaks water.
Big deep breath in.
Okay.
And scanning the room, whatever we are.
Yep. So you kind of... this is not a Navy SEAL eyes above stealth moment.
No.
As you come up...
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm up.
But,
I'm up.
but roll a perception check.
Got it.
And the rest of the crew, as you're looking, you all come up behind him.
Okay.
And can also crest the water.
I was
Perception's
gonna
a
say,
10.
as soon as he says that, I'm like pushing Brightwing ahead of me. Because if
Okay.
he's out, she needs to get out of here.
As it happens, she has a higher Constitution modifier, and so Yasnib is the only one who this was really close for.
Nice.
Perception was 10.
I think she is very much like when she gets to the top, she's shaking like a leaf, though.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
Get out.
freezing.
Get out.
Okay, you
Get
guys
out.
clamber out. Yasnib, you see a little bit ahead of you. It is a much smaller. It's not even really a cavern. It's kind of a much wider tunnel. So it's a little bit wider than this pool that you've come up in, which is about 10 or 15 feet, similar to the last one. But it's more of a tunnel that is about the width of this pool that then continues forward and curves to the right a little bit.
Okay.
And you see ahead of you against the walls I guess you call it a smattering of purplish mushrooms that are glowing luminescently.
First thing climbing out, I'm putting up another similar outcropping of illusory magic to kind of block the path for us getting out. And then I'll turn around to the group. Well, purple mushrooms ahead. I don't see anybody.
DM.
Yes.
Does the glow of the mushrooms just so happen to match my purpley glow?
No, it's close, but not quite. Yours is
Okay.
more of like a pinkish purple, and this is a pretty vibrantly purple.
So I definitely don't get the vibe that that and that are very similar. They're probably
Not-
two different things.
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
And I'll help
have a
anybody out of the
question.
water.
Okay. Yeah.
Are my are my feathers water resistant, or did they suck this water up and she has like it's really heavy?
You know, I'm not entirely positive on the biology of flying non-aquatic birds.
Okay, I don't know either.
I'm gonna say that it is not like drenched in floppy, wet towel level at
Mhm.
all. But I'm not gonna say either that you're like a duck or a swan where it just fully wicks off. So it's probably like wet, and it will take a little while to like shake off.
Okay.
It's probably closer to like a dog, but probably a little bit more resistant than that. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, cool.
All right,
I'm-
you guys
Mark
all
off
set?
part of my some information is information too, Matt.
True.
I'm going to very quietly and sadly start drying off my gun and try and clean it out like I did the night before, which definitely isn't healthy for it to be in water so often. But
Yes.
it's okay. So I'm gonna do my
Okay.
best to try and make it operational.
Okay. Roll a intelligence check for me.
Okay, sir.
Arthur is going to be so mad at you.
Listen, Arthur and I are going to have a talk about him making more practical designs. That's going to be a 16.
Okay. I think that's quite a bit better than the one you rolled last time.
Yeah,
Okay. You are able to kind of, having done this now once before, figure out a little better what parts need to come apart, what parts need to be dried out, what blowing on does or doesn't help, and you take about 30 seconds to a minute, work to dry it out a little bit, scrub it with the cloth of your clothes or rag or whatever you have, and you think it might be decently functional. You're not positive.
Well, nothing like playing a game of roulette, so...
I stand
I think you
farther
guys-
away from him and shake off the water.
Yeah, it's very like the bird bath kind
Yep,
of a
yep.
bird right
Yep.
now.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Vanna just like emerges gorgeously, like she's in a parade.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Just
think
very
with
majestic.
her you seeing her so wet, you can actually tell that her hair is feather-like with it.
Whoa. You just are a bird.
Your whole thing is just bird.
Trust me, you
I
haven't
have a
seen all of it
feeling-
yet.
I have a feeling that she is like one with the bird.
That, I mean,
That
yes,
is
I would
actually
say...
very similar. That is my Kueakia.
You are going to have to explain to me what that is later,
Yeah, Eclipse is finally like,
but not right now.
you've said that enough times that I need to know what that actually means.
It's how do I say? It's the
No, I want to pay full attention to it.
Yes.
We go do the thing now.
Not now.
Oh,
You
no.
can walk and
calm-
talk if you want. It's
yeah.
up to you
No,
guys.
no, I'm too distracted.
Okay. You're
Like,
focusing.
over lunch, explain, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Lead the way stealthy like?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Everyone roll group stealth check.
You got it.
DM, I have a very serious question.
Yeah.
Oh
Cats are proficient to stealth. I have a disadvantage. What do I do?
You roll with disadvantage, but you get that full bonus.
Okay.
Huh?
boy. Yeah, you don't have...
your armor.
The modifier is just a plus, but
Okay.
your armor gives you disadvantage. So you have disadvantage, but a +4, which
Oh, I have
mathematically
proficiency.
almost
Okay, I don't
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah.
advantage, I have proficiency. Okay.
correct.
I wanted to make sure that was right, because I was like, this doesn't make sense. Oh. Here we go.
So 15 for me now.
Okay.
21.
Dice Tower, don't do this to me.
Yeah,
Six for
apparently
spirits.
wet feathers are pretty loud because I rolled a 9.
Oh
Okay.
no!
This might hinge a good amount on
Wow,
Eclipse
that
here.
went so much better than I thought it was going to. That's an 18.
Oh, thank
Okay. All right. You guys, and you want to kind of make your way forward through this
Mhm.
tunnel. Okay. You start to kind of head out and around this curve. And as you go, you do notice the bits of mushroom that are closer to the center of this walkway do seem to have a bit of like faded glow.
Can I cut
and
one off?
darkness to them. Cut a mushroom?
Yeah,
Sure. One of the faded ones or one of the more bright ones to the back?
one of the bright ones.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. You have a glowy purple mushroom, slightly wilted.
Does
Is
it-
this... Sorry, go ahead.
Does it lose any color once?
Yes, it slowly fades away. Probably like, but in the time it takes you to put in your pouch or whatever, you don't see it, but it will slowly fade away.
Sorry,
Yes?
eat this.
All right. How?
Fair enough.
I eat it.
You eat
Anything
it.
happen?
Well, we'll see later.
Oh no. Is the glow from these mushrooms enough to make it visible for the non-dark sight people, or
It's dim.
It's dim.
So yes, you can see the floor, you can see rocks, so you're not gonna like trip and fall on anything. It's not bright light though.
okay?
kind of a dim glow.
Did my sister just kill me? Find out next time.
Probably keep walking ahead until something changes, like a new room or offshoot.
Okay. So you guys round this bend, and you see it kind of opens up into a little bit of a wider tunnel. The mushroom still sort of hanging to the walls, spread out along the sides of the wall, and up ahead it seems to continue forward, and you see the luminescent glow of the mushrooms start to kind of fade away. It seems like they might stop a little bit ahead. Yasnip, you said you're leading now?
Unless Eclipse takes the lead, I'll go first.
I will go behind him if
Okay.
the illusion thing is still happening.
Yeah, still with the rock crops.
Yeah.
Okay. You get around about 5 or 10 feet around this bend. I need you to roll a d4.
Okay. 1.
Okay. Without warning, and the rest of you see this, a tendril extends from a larger mushroom that was just off of the main path and whips out at you and strikes at your side with surprise. Yeah, it's a natural 20.
Here we go.
See ya.
That is 8 necrotic damage.
Okay, so that takes away full temp plus 1.
Okay. And the rest of you, having seen this from behind, see that there is a tendril. There's actually now multiple tendrils starting to come out from one of these mushrooms on the side. I need you all to roll initiative.
I ate one of these.
Okay.
That had,
This one
there
looks...
was no time for reaction on that, right? Like there's no...
No, that
Okay,
was a
just
total
make sure.
surprise.
Okay.
This one is, to your question, Seraph, much larger.
All right.
I
So
got you, little baby one.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
but maybe it's a baby, so you don't really know.
I rolled a natural 20.
Hey.
Exciting. I have a plan too. I have a
Yes,
plan.
let's go!
That'll be a 21 for.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if it's gonna work, but I need to try it at least.
What was your total, Brightwing?
23.
23. Ooh, I take that. Oh, no, I don't.
Ah.
Okay. And, Vana, you said you rolled a 21?
I rolled a 19, so 21.
19. Okay, what else do we have?
21 total. I
21
rolled
total,
a 15.
6.
Whoa.
Dirty 20.
Ooh, okay. And I'm missing someone. Oh, Seraph.
15.
It's 15. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Give me uno momento to get you guys over here.
There's a map.
Transition.
Well,
There's a map. There's a map.
There's a map. There's a map. There's a map.
There's a map.
What's the other one? Is it like with the backpack? It's like backpack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all, I
What a
was
show.
a huge Dora the Explorer fan. I was
unfortunately didn't have the pleasure, but I know of it. I know
We
Dominoes.
are.
Oh.
Okay, you can all drag yourself onto the map.
Hey, wait a
So,
minute.
which direction are we coming from?
You're coming from the pool
That way.
over here at the top left.
Okay.
Yasnip, you are right here, and everyone else is in some formation behind him. Eclipse would be more towards the front. I'll let you guys decide the rest as you wish.
Wait a minute. What's in the pool?
Who's
Just
that?
rock. It's not actually a thing.
Oh,
Ignore that.
the rock.
Yeah, it is.
that's me. That's Vanna coming up out of the water.
Nice.
True.
Where are you though?
Yeah,
Why
where are
do
you
like yourself
actually?
like that, Anna?
That's a really good question. I'm having some technical difficulties. Wait, what the hell?
I think you have to pull it like from the name, not the picture, if you want to.
What have I done?
Also, Leah, you've gone choppy.
I've gone choppy. I know why.
It's gone choppy.
There we go.
You've gone straight choppy.
You're going straight shopping at it.
Oh boy, we're doing this now.
Bro, you got a problem
you're
there.
not.
The rest of the
You got a
entire
problem.
episode.
Oh, fuck
My
off.
other new campaign is a
Hey,
Scottish
Stein
campaign.
buddies.
It's the worst. I can't do it at all.
Amazing.
I'm putting it. I'm doing the thing, but it's
Matt,
not.
help.
Matt, help.
Yep. I got you. 1 sec. Vanna, right there.
Also, I'm just going to mention, as soon as
There
she
I
said
am.
Vanna, I said Havana Unana.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
Okay. Brightwing,
Okay.
it is your turn.
All right. I am going to attempt to channel divinity and charm animals and plants.
Ooh.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
if this will work.
Let me pull this up.
We're about to find out.
We're gonna
Yes,
find
we
out.
are. Okay. Present your magic charm for 1 minute. Each beast of plant creature that can see you within 30 feet. Wow. Okay, that fails a wisdom saving throw DC 15. Alrighty.
Let's go.
Let's do some rolling.
God, imagine having a +5 modifier at 2nd level.
Okay, so...
Sean, I'm already nerfed.
Yes, we had to nerf her rolls. They were insane.
Don't worry, Sean. I have nothing over a +3.
That's very sad. I almost didn't have that. I was very close to not having that. Although with the way that I'm rolling, it almost feels like, you know.
Okay. And this is a wisdom save. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's gonna have to be. That is. What's your DC? 15? Nope.
Yes.
Nope. Okay, well, I had a lot of high rolls, but it didn't matter. And how long does this last? 1 minute. Okay. All right. Would you like to do anything else on your turn?
I would say she like takes her staff and like just like slams it into the ground, and like a wave of energy pulses from it as soon as she sees Yasnet gets tangled up by a plant, just to try and calm the plant down and see if it works. But I don't think I'll move. I don't know. I'll stay where I am.
Okay.
And then I think if it's charmed, if it gets hit, it gets uncharmed, correct?
Let's just do a.
I'm just trying to make sure I know the charm effect. I don't know.
A charmed creature can attack the charmer or target the charmer with harmful abilities or effects and has advantage on an ability check to socially interact with the creature. It does not say anything specific about charm being broken by attacks. That might be a spell specific thing. I will continue
Okay,
to look.
cool. Then I think I'm thinking of the spell charm, not this. Okay, then I will just try and keep. Is this concentration? I don't know. It's just an ability, right? So I guess
It is just an ability, yes.
I guess I will just try and keep these plants charmed to help my new friends.
Okay.
My new old friend.
Wait, I can still do an action, right?
Okay. So if you click on your ability, it becomes a little bit wider description, and it does say if the creature fails the saving throw, it is charmed by you for 1 minute or until it takes damage.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right. And that's not even my action. That's just something I can do. I will say then, if it looks like it's
I will try to keep its attention, but do not try to hurt it. If you do
Uh,
it will attack again.
Okay, it is an action to use
It
your
is an
channel
action?
divinity.
It says
Yeah.
channel divinity says no action.
It's under your
That's
actions, and it says under the charm it says as an action you can use channel
As an
divinity.
action. Well, that's okay. Channel
Yeah.
divinity.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
weird.
that's really weird. Okay,
Yeah,
then that is my action. I don't think I have
Okay.
any bonus action.
You can use you can still say what you said, so everybody hears her say that.
Bonus actions. I will then bonus action cast Shillelagh on my staff,
Okay.
just in caseies,
Okay.
because I can't do the other thing. I don't think. Yo, I can't.
Hmm.
So that's
Okay.
it.
All right. Do you want to move at all?
I will stay here to try and be as effective with my 30 feet.
Okay.
If they're already there, so I guess.
Yes, Fauna, you're up. Is that what you're umming?
Yes. So, it's charmed now, right?
It is charmed, and she said that if you attack it, it would break that charm.
So theoretically, can't we just like walk on by?
That would be your understanding, potentially, yes.
That's what Vanna's gonna do.
Okay.
Vana, be careful.
Don't worry, it's just mushroom.
Where do you want to walk to?
She'll probably use her.
Sorry.
She wants to get right there.
Okay. You should be able to control yourself. Can you?
I believe so. Woo. Hold on.
I believe.
I believe. I
Believe.
So, yeah, Sabel, if you...
It's not working.
You can't drag it around or anything?
I don't think so.
If you click it and push it, does it like highlight it and open a box around it?
No.
Okay, well, let's figure that out later. So you want to go right here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you go there. Anything else?
I think she will cast Detect Magic. See what kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay. You do not get a blip of anything from the environment around you. You do get blips from each of your compatriots.
Each of them?
Yes. Each of them seems to have something slightly magical.
Do I know
They're
what kind?
You see a faint glow. So if you kind of look back, are you gonna look back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you see a faint glow around Eclipse's spear, Yosnip's glove, your brother's shoulder blades, which you know, and Brightwing's staff.
Okay.
So they all seem to be magical in some way.
And then it says I learned
know
the
the
school
school?
of magic, if any.
Yeah, so since these are magic items, they're not necessarily school specific. It's just a general enchantment on the item. So you see that they have magic items of some kind.
Okay. But
It's not
the
particular
mushrooms
spell.
is
The mushrooms do not seem to be magical, no.
okay.
All right, that's your turn.
Mhm.
Eclipse, you're up.
Okay. After seeing Vanna go by, I'm gonna stay close to Yasnip, but I'm gonna get on the other side of the mushroom. So I'm gonna get right here.
Okay.
Am I able to pull him free? Is he grappled?
He's not grappled. No,
Okay,
it kind of
it
like
just
lashed
popped.
and like slapped at him.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna stay right here, just in case. I guess I'll hold an attack just in case it decides to get violent.
Okay. You're holding a spear attack?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Vana. Ahead of you,
Okay.
you don't have dark vision?
No.
Okay. So there is this dim glow from these mushrooms that kind of like dimly lights up this area over here where the mushrooms kind of stop. It seems to peter out. And you notice them, these mushrooms here and these mushrooms here, right on the edges, kind of like you had seen before on the edges, are a little bit more wilted. And you see them, with your passive perception, growing more wilted rapidly. And then right in front of you, here and here, you see two of the creatures that seemed to have been not visible a ways ahead rush up to you, and they are both going to make attacks. Doody-dee-dee. Okay. That is going to be, from the one on the left, a natural 1. You hate to see it. And from the one on the
we love
right,
to see it.
Much better. 21 to hit.
Yeah, that'll
Oh,
hit.
yeah.
And that's going to be... Oh, come on. 2 piercing damage.
Okay.
Trash rolls from these guys so far this campaign.
Can Vana, like, scream?
Yes, you could certainly scream.
She's gonna, like, scream.
Okay.
She's probably gonna be like, Sam!
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I really turned my attention.
Seraph, you can probably just barely see around this corner. These things suddenly appear in front of your sister as she screams, and they claw at her. Eclipse, you have a held attack. You'd have to throw something if you wanted to throw it at them. Do you want to do that, or are you going to stay put?
I'm gonna stay put.
Okay.
It's
All
my
right,
zone.
then. Seraph, you're up.
Ah.
15, 20, 25. I'm gonna hug this wall
Okay.
and just kind of go like right here,
Okay.
and I will take out Bloodlust.
Mhm.
And as I'm kind of taking it out of my coat, I'm gonna drag the edge of it across my open chest as these little patterns of blood kind of fling themselves out, and these little orbs suspend themselves in the air as you see light sparks of electricity shooting between all of them, eventually shooting directly into the gun itself as I use my Crimson Right. And now I'm gonna roll so many dice.
Here we go.
So that was my bonus action to do that. So I'm gonna shoot the one I have direct eye line on.
Okay. For your knowledge on this roll, your misfire score is increased by 2 from the mostly dealt with dampness, which I believe makes it a 4.
Yes, that is correct. It makes it
Okay.
all right. Let's try not to fail. Hey, that was really good. That's gonna be. Oh my god, my modifier's so high. 21 to hit.
And it's the left or the right?
It's gonna be the left.
Okay. Yep, that definitely hits. Roll damage.
Sweet. That's going to be 10 points of piercing and 1 point of lightning.
Okay. So everybody can see this. Yasnip and, in fact, everybody but Brightwing, you have seen a gun fired before. It does not usually look like all that. That was something extra. Brightwing, you've never seen this happen before, so it catches you extremely off guard, and
Yeah.
all of you have in your heads reverberating the sound of a gunshot that is bouncing around these cave walls. And this creature takes what some of you know to be a bullet, a projectile to the chest, along with this lightning damage kind of almost surrounding it, and it blows a hole in the center of its chest the size of like my head, and it, as it's trying to go for Vanna, keels over, completely dead, wiped.
Wow.
Absolutely fucking not.
All right, is that your turn?
That'll be my turn. Yeah.
Okay. It is the violet fungus's turn. Fungi's turn. They're all fun guys.
Hey.
Here, and here, all of you see. No, that's not really what I wanted to do, but I guess that works. Actually, let me do this. Boom, boop, boop. So you see 3 more of the larger fungi that looked to your knowledge previously like just large mushrooms. These tendrils extend from them, and you can see that each of them have about 4. And the one next to you, Brightwing, and the one next to the duo down below, and the one next to Vanna, they all kind of reach out and sort of just lightly caress your form with these tendrils. And that's it. Literally all failed their saving throws.
Oh my god, that's
and are all charmed. So, they do diddly! Doesn't it? You're up.
Okay. I will take a stutter step away. Is it kind of like a, you step away and it just kind of lets you go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I will continue running. I'm going to run around the outside to get to the other side of this one.
Okay.
And I will attack with 2 daggers towards it. First one is a 23.
That hits very much.
And the second one is a 13.
That is its armor class.
Alright. So the first one is going to do 7 points of damage.
Okay.
And the second one is 6 points of damage.
Would you like to describe the
I
finish?
apologize.
Yeah.
3 points of damage.
Would you still like to describe the finish?
Basically just like a wraparound leap over the one that had fallen previously and hook into the front side of its chest and come around and go up through the kidney on the other side and just kind of splay it onto the ground.
Okay. You guys all watch this happen, and this creature, shredded open, falls to the ground next to its kin. Clearly dead. Brightwing. You now see these 4 creatures and 4 fungus plant things, and know by the way they're acting and your own magic that they are all charmed by you and how long you have, which is a little less than a minute.
I believe we should get out of here while they are fixated on me.
And as she passes by the one next to her, she's like,
I am sorry that you are not getting your meal today.
and then we'll continue forward. But she also is very, like, as she passes our friend here, I think she is very, like, just fixated on that gun, and is like, she is shaken by how loud it was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, how far can I move?
I believe 30 feet, and you can also, if you don't want to do anything with your action, use that to dash.
Yeah, I'll dash. I don't need to do anything.
Okay. So I think you get basically off the map here.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, right. All right, you're right off the map. We'll say you're right at the edge of it.
Okay, cool. Oops, sorry.
Oh, gosh.
Sorry.
There you go. Does anybody, I'll say this. As she gets there, there's nothing else seems to threaten her. Does anybody want to do anything or say anything with the near to a minute they have here in this room, or do you want to get out?
I would double tap again and recast False Life, and then
Dope.
follow behind.
Oh man, what an ability!
Yeah.
Very
Needed
cool.
that one.
Very cool.
I mean, like Vanna doesn't exactly want to do anything. She is
Go on.
sure as hell, like,
Go on.
scurrying over to Seraph and, like, holding on to him.
Okay.
Do not separate yourself from the group again. Alright? Just stay with us. Right.
With that
You guys make your way
gunshot, they
forward?
probably know that we're coming, quite evidently.
Well, that certainly solves a bit of a problem. Because now we'll know exactly where they're coming from.
Kind of visible frustration as he turns to follow after Brightwing.
Okay.
I don't choose my weapons, they choose me. It's not that simple. Come on.
Everyone else walking out?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will move you guys back to here. You guys make your way out of this sort of fungus-filled section of tunnel and into what becomes a little bit wider, about 15 feet across, 15 feet tall tunnel of mostly stone. It is still damp, dripping, but there's not as much water as obviously you had up by the lake, and it is quiet except for the echoes of your footsteps, and you start to make your way forward.
I
For
think
what
she's-
stretch? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
She's staying close to Yasnip after that gunshot.
Okay.
She's pretty scared from it.
Okay. You guys make your way forward. It for now seems to hold a singular tunnel. There's not branches or anything like that. For what stretches to half an hour, and then an hour, and then 2 hours. You guys are winding. You can't even begin to imagine how far. It winds enough that you really lose sense of even what direction you're going. You don't still know if you're under the lake. You don't know if you're well off under farmland or where you might be. But you've been walking now for some time. Is there anything you guys want to do in that couple hour span? I will also say, based off when you guys remember coming down here, it's probably getting to like late afternoon, early evening at this point.
I will
Yeah,
actually,
I will ask Yasnip on his timekeeping device that he showed me.
I will look specifically at what time it is.
It is 4:27.
Oh, 7 minutes after.
You
Fuck.
mother trucking Caleb.
Yeah.
Nice.
DM question.
Yes.
False Life is an hour, and in this area where it's kind of more hostile, especially with purple fungus to just try to kill me, I'd keep that up.
Yep.
How, from a standpoint of in-game, should I roll once like every 45 minutes to reapply the amount, or should I do max, or what do you think?
What I will say is, for like a stretch of encounters or even like a session, I will say like make your one roll when you first cast it and just apply it for the rest of that session.
Okay. So that is 7.
And then if that false life carries over to the next one, then that will apply, and then in that next session, if you recast it, you can roll again. But I'd say like once a session, just apply it across the board.
Perfect.
Just
Okay.
keeps things simple. Yeah.
So I'll keep that going.
Is Yasnip looking a little hurt, a little bloody?
He's looking pretty fine as it is.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Little
Anybody else
scrape.
want to do anything or say anything specific in this, what stretches on for quite some time?
Are we still in the dark? Or not?
Yes, it is pitch black, dark tunnel down here.
Okay.
It is.
I'm glowing.
Yes. How much is your glow?
So it's 5 feet of bright light and 5 feet of dim light after that.
Okay,
So it's
so if
not
you
a
guys-
whole lot.
Yeah, if you guys stay close to Seraph, you can actually see decently well. And if he stays around the middle of the group, I would say that more or less the area around where you're walking is lit. You can't see like far ahead, except for those of you who have dark vision.
Do I know how long it would take for the lantern to dry? Because it probably wouldn't have been by now.
No, it would probably not have been by now.
Okay, just checking.
You'd probably be getting close. I would say you maybe tried it like half an hour ago and not quite. It wasn't quite catching.
Okay. Then yeah, I'm just walking ever vigilant.
It's getting to about early evening.
How do you know that?
He
I
keeps
will.
a time device on himself. It is very accurate from what I have tested.
I will lift up the glove and under a leather flap, flip open, and you can see a clock. That's impressioned into it. Then
Clever. Where'd you get that?
a friend.
Are
Fair enough.
clocks common?
For where you're from, yes.
Okay.
Watches and timepieces and clocks, you've seen plenty
Okay.
of.
Okay.
Anything else anybody wants to do?
I think Vana has been real quiet. And I think she just isn't, if there's like group discussions or anything, she's not. And she is standing very, very close to Seraph. Like
Okay.
probably some kind of physical contact.
Okay. All right.
I guess for a point of order, how far do we believe that we should proceed without rests or anything of that nature? I'm fine as it is. I don't know how everybody else is.
I am looking a bit tired. I was not able to use my full capabilities.
Just looking at the possibilities of exhaustion.
Vana?
Even if it's just for an hour, I'd be able to go on longer.
Maybe for an hour, then perhaps we take a bit of a break.
Would someone, or maybe perhaps two, like to go ahead just a little ways and double back, just to make sure that the immediate portion in front of us is safe?
I'm not the quietest, but I can certainly do that.
I can see ahead quite a bit.
Well, we'll leave you two for, we're just gonna go maybe 20 seconds or so. Just what's around the next bend.
Right.
We'll be right back.
Alright.
Okay.
And
So, Yasnip, Eclipse, Brightwing, you're all going to make your way up a little bit?
roll stealth if we need to.
Yes. Roll a stealth check. Group.
Not bad.
18.
15.
15, 18,
What's a 9?
9. Okay. You guys make your way up relatively quietly. The two of you can hear the clinks a little bit of armor under Eclipse's outer clothes, but it's not terrible. And you get maybe another 30 seconds to a minute down the tunnel and see continuing tunnel. It does not seem to be anything specific or notable.
Seems we are in the clear.
Peace of mind is how I was looking for that, at least. Alright,
Then I guess we'll head back.
will do.
Okay. You guys want to take a short rest?
Please?
Okay, you guys can
Okay.
take a short rest.
Uh,
Anything you want to do in the span of this short rest?
is that when we can roll hit dice? Is that what?
Yes, you can roll hit dice.
No, I'm gonna roll. I'll roll.
Why can't
Mark off however many you roll.
Sweet.
Okay, I'm gonna wait.
I would also say Eclipse towards the end of this short rest, you probably try again on the lantern and it lights.
Okay, then yeah, I'm gonna put that in the middle while we're resting.
Okay.
With it on.
I will say throughout the portion of the short rest, I will pull out a bottle of Scumble, and specifically I will pull out the peach, and I will open it up and just take small sips. I'm not looking to get blasted or anything, but just small little
Take the
sips.
edge off, maybe.
And offer it to anybody else that would like some.
Okay.
Is my tree sap okay? Is my tree sap candy okay after being in the water?
Oh no.
Yes, it's all right.
Oh, thank God.
It might have a little bit of a pond water flavor to it
Oh no.
for a bit, so you can wash it off as some fresh water, but it's okay.
Hey, Vanna. Do you remember that really fun drink that I had you?
Seraph,
Hmm?
what am I doing?
What do you mean?
I feel like this is very like a private conversation too.
Mm-hmm.
We've been I've never been this close to something like that. I don't want to. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm scared, Sarah, I'm just nervous and I want to.
I think that we need to realize that at the end of this, what we are doing is saving people.
But everything was so much simpler at home.
Was it? I mean, think about what happened. You know? Things got very complicated very quickly. And things are only gonna get weirder from here.
Why did you have to leave? It's just everything has been happening.
Everything that has happened to our home was going to happen no matter what.
Don't say that.
I understand, but this creeping death that seems to be crawling across the land, it doesn't seem like it's just localized in any one place. And if we have any hope of doing something about this, maybe this is where we start.
You were always so concerned. Sure.
Because the small picture is frightening. Because we only see what could be in the immediate future. And that is scary. But think about what we are doing. Think about the Hoppercrosses. Daisy, I mean, that is what we are here for.
I'm here for you, Sarah. I didn't want to be alone. And I know it is my fault, I guess.
No, I think this is a bad time for this conversation.
I'm just tired.
You know, maybe once we save all those children and to get back up to the surface, then we can look a bit more inwards and find out what needs to be done. Yeah?
Okay.
Let's focus on doing the right thing.
Okay.
Ah!
Okay.
Sorry.
Anybody else have anything else during this
Um,
short rest?
I would say that she would take out her tree sap candy
Mm-hmm.
and she would go around to see if anyone would want to share in it.
Okay.
Would take some, offer her some peach scumble. Remember, small sips.
It is not something I will forget anytime soon.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You're not about to tell me that this one got hammered.
No.
No, I'd never.
Ambitious.
I just copied what he did when he took a sip, but it was not a sip. It was a.
Ah. I see.
Yes. I was not prepared for the burning sensation that it brought.
Oh, that's the best part.
I did enjoy the sweet of it though. I'm a bit of a sweet tooth myself.
If anyone wants some peach from Wiggins, got it this morning.
And I have some tree sap candy that I brought from my home.
I think I'm good, but I think Vanna would love some tree sap candy, yeah?
Yeah, I would like to try it. I wish I still had my strawberries from earlier. They were the most beautiful strawberries I'd ever seen.
Those did look absolutely delicious. Honestly, it is.
I still have the baskets.
The baskets are the true win, honestly.
Well, I'm going to give them back to that very nice person at the stand.
Fair enough. Alright.
Vana, these tree sap candies that Brightwing gives you, they, like, you know how some candy has a very clearly artificial flavor?
Yeah.
This is as far away from that as you can get, to the point where someone who's had a bunch more, like, main city artificial flavored candy would probably find it kind of off-putting and not that good. I'll leave it up to you how you feel about it, but it almost tastes like licking a tree directly. It is sweet, but very... There's a strong flavor to it.
I think she's into it. I think it's a very natural flavor that's almost a little bit reminiscent of home. And I think she's into it. This is really good.
Thank you. It's one of my favorite things. I was lucky enough to have some on my journey before I left.
I really, really like it. Tree, is it?
Yes. There is a method where you are able to pick a tree, and the sap that comes from it, you are able to procure it and cook it in a way that it forms into more of a crystallized caramelization and becomes candy.
I like that. All the candy that I had when I was growing up was more floral flavors.
We have
But
some of that.
It was also very, very natural, like that.
Seems we grew very similar, but different.
Yeah. I think it is interesting that, I don't know, the two of us came from very similar, no, not came from, but ended up kind of similar. But then there are people like my brother who are so different, but grew up the same way.
I must admit, I am very curious of. You all seem to know of the outside world.
I had very limited exposure to the outside world.
But my brother, he was the one that was out.
My people, we are not I don't know how to say. We are cut off, I guess. We do some trading, but in the terms of our ways, they are kept their ways, traditional. So this is all very peculiar, but curious.
It is. It is a lot. But
Do you know why they have bells on doors?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I walked in there and I walk into places and the doorbell rings and I'm like,
What is up with that?
I have no idea.
What is the
Is it-
purpose of making a musical door?
I have no idea. Is it like a little bird? I don't understand. Is it supposed to be a welcoming thing? It starts to get annoying though if you just stare and the bell keeps.
Is it supposed to? I'm really. I did not know that. I just kept doing it.
Oh no! It's no. You are not annoying. It's just sometimes people. The door.
Oh.
I
This
don't know.
is perhaps one of the most interesting conversations I think I've ever had anyone have in my entire life.
Do you know the purpose of bells on doors?
I'm aware, but the part of me also doesn't want to tell you so that you can still continue
You
to
are
have this
so
conversation.
mean.
We finally agree
What?
on one
That
thing, I
just-
suppose.
See? Even the
You are
Osnip
so
thinks this is the right idea.
Whatever. Do you have any other questions? Because I have so many questions. Oh! Right way.
Yes.
Have you been to the great big city that is very, very ugly and awful?
It's
Which
not
one?
ugly or awful.
I think it is
one
called.
of
I think it is called Bragdale. It is so ugly. Did you see it? It's covered in just rocks.
Did we go there?
No, you're not familiar with that place.
It is the
do not-
worst.
I
It is
have
the worst.
been to cities, and I must admit that it was very big, but I'm not sure if we went there.
They are so ugly. They are all one color. First off, and it is gray.
I did.
Not exciting.
The cities that I saw, they seem to use the nature around them to help build upon, which is what my people do.
See, that I like. I think that is pretty, but this one is rocks.
Not only is Bragdale one of the most technologically advanced cities this side of the world,
What
it
the hell is
also
Shut up.
houses our wonderful friend Arthur.
Oh, that is true. We met this wonderful person named Arthur, and he is crazy, and I have no idea what he's about any of the time. But he's very entertaining. He's related to the Hoppercross.
He is a very, very smart individual.
Yes.
The two of us have worked on quite a bit together.
But he is so funny because he was talking, he's like,
He does go how a lot. That is for sure.
He's very endearing.
I look to the Eclipse.
Do you also know of an Arthur?
Do I? Have I heard of this person?
No, you've not heard of a specific Arthur in Bragdale. You've probably met an Arthur or two where you come from, but not a specific Arthur in Bragdale.
She kind of goes from like hunching over a bit, staring down the cave, to being mentioned, or you're just kind of like, I mean, I've met a variety of Arthurs, I suppose, but I haven't heard anyone make that unique sound with that same name.
Right way.
Yes.
Have you ever met something Lapper?
I apologize, I did not catch that.
A reed lapper?
Oh no. Alright.
I'm going to go ahead and just put a stop to this. This is going to get very out of hand very quickly.
Right around that time is probably the close of an hour. And I will say to Brightwing, actually roll a nature check, Brightwing.
Hey,
10? You have not heard of a reed lapper, and, well, that's all she asked, so I won't say anything more at this time. But around that time is an hour. You guys can continue to talk as you walk if you want, but your short rest is up.
Suppose we should get back moving again.
I pick up my lantern because I left
Yes,
it in the
I
middle.
am feeling much more in tune and ignore this. This. Do y'all hear the train?
No.
Yeah.
Choo
Not at all.
choo.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard it a little bit.
Okay.
But it wasn't
I-
like a normal choo-choo train sound. It was like.
No, it's quite annoying.
All right. I am good to go.
All right. Well, let's
Everybody else good to go?
press on.
All right. You guys press on. It doesn't take long, maybe 5 or 10 minutes before you find a change in this tunnel after being in the same tunnel more or less for hours. You reach what opens up into quite a large cavern. Probably a good 40 feet up to the ceiling. And from where your tunnel ends, maybe close to 90 or 100 feet across to the opposite wall. And as you kind of step into this cavern area, you see 2 tunnels, or one long tunnel that it intersects yours, stretching out left and right, perpendicularly to your tunnel. And then across, past that perpendicular stretch of 2 tunnels, or one, you see a river flowing. Probably about 20 feet wide, not rushing, it's kind of a low river. And then a wall behind that where the cave goes up again. And you have about a 40-foot gap between the walls, the back walls of the 2 tunnels that intersect yours, where you can see to this river, and you imagine it goes off to the left and off to the right also. It's kind of flowing parallel to this tunnel that intersects yours. And you see, the thing that stands out to you is you see on the rocky area kind of near this river, several stone objects. At first, as you first walk in and the lantern light hits them, because you guys now have a lantern working again, from a distance where it's kind of dim, it just seems like rocks, a couple piles of rocks, or rocky outcroppings, stalactites maybe. And then as you get closer and step a little bit further in towards the river, to where you're now kind of in the intersection point, you see that the shape of these things is oddly not rock-like and oddly more humanoid. Maybe almost like statues. What would you like to do?
They're about how far away?
They're about 15 or 20 feet ahead of you now. They're kind of also in the intersection where you guys are.
Can I minor illusion a crackling sound on the other side of them to see if they react to it?
Okay. It kind of mixes in with the light trickling rush of the river. Nothing from these forms.
I will go ahead and sort of inspect these to see
Okay.
if there's anything out of the ordinary.
Does someone want to bring up some light with him?
I'm
I guess
going
he
with
has
him.
some. Okay, you
I
walk
have
up
some.
also. Yeah. You get closer. Roll an investigation check.
I'm gonna keep looking
Alright.
further to the other side of the riverbank
Okay.
and just scan the area.
I'm looking at all the wrong places. Right. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm gonna use my bonus, man.
So that'll be 18, 23.
23. Okay.
I just want to learn as much as I can.
Yeah. You inspect a few of them that are kind of clumped on the left. And quickly, as you get closer, you do seem, I mean, they do appear to be statues, stone statues that are kind of like broken, chipped in places, a little bit eroded. And as you get closer, close enough to investigate, this is far too exact of handiwork to be statues. It looks much more like a dwarf and a gnome and a human stone in various positions. Most of them look in positions of some sort of protection or fear. There are chunks of them like fallen off, an arm is missing and on the ground. You can see the fingers like on the hand, perfect fingers but stone. And looking across the way at the other sort of grouping of them, you see a similar collection.
Okay.
And as you finish this investigation, Brightwing and Vana, you guys hear coming up from the tunnel to your left, a sound starts to reach your ear. It sounds like clawed feet and a sort of a guttural growling that is, and several of these feet probably, and it seems to be getting a little bit louder.
There is something coming.
And that is where we will pick up.
Wow.
No!
Medusa?
That was about
No!
Session
Just got
1
bars.
in the books, y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, we did
GG's.
it!
Well done, all
Oh
around.
my god.
What a party. What a party.
What a party indeed.
I'm loving it.
Very.
All right, well, we
Uh-oh.
have to carry on the storybook tradition of favorite moment.
Oh,
Do
yes.
you want this part of the recording?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
We never decided how to end it, so this is good.
I will go first because I'm the DM, and also because I wrote them down as they were happening.
Oh, that's.
Um,
I never do that. I should do that.
so by far the thing that I cannot explain to you how much joy I got from this. So when you guys were building your characters, Vana and Brightwing, or Sabel and Leah, both started like giving me their ideas of what they wanted to be, and both of them were very clearly, as you guys I'm sure figured out, like trending towards a very, very similar. And I was in like this interesting place of, is that going to be like they're stepping on each other's toes? Do I want to discourage them in some way? How is this going to work out? It might get a little funky. I don't know. And so coming into this session, I was like, that was one of the things I was most interested to see. And the first really like major interaction between you two was when you were inspecting the area around where there was that scuffle in the city, and you guys were literally finishing each other's sentences, and it was clear that there was like unity instead of weird toe stepping, and it was so amazing for me to witness that. So I absolutely loved that. I also somehow these all ended up being Brightwing things, so, or at least involving her, not on purpose. The violet fungus, which is those creatures, just annihilating them, completely taking them out of combat. Those things can do. So the D4 that I had Brian roll is how many attacks they get to make.
Oh
He rolled
crap!
a 1, which was
Yeah.
really good.
Oh, yeah.
But if it rolls a 4, it can do a lot of damage in a single turn. And so there's they can't move fast, so it's basically like you have to get by them without just getting knocked.
Yeah.
But Brightwing just annihilated them and made that
Hmm.
completely, it was
How
incredible.
much damage did you take?
That was 8.
It was 8 on a crit. They don't do much
Okay.
per hit,
Okay.
but they can do a lot in a single turn.
Forgot
if
it was
things
a
go
crit.
well.
Hitting Yasnip, it's a lot.
Yes.
Just gonna say.
And then the last one, I'm giving myself the allowance to have more than one. The doorbell conversation, and
Yeah.
only Leah and Brian can really appreciate how amazing it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Because you made a point of saying that, like, if people were to open and close it, it would get annoying. And Leah or Brightwing literally did that for I don't even know how long in session.
It was like
0.5.
2.5, 3 minutes because it was the
In the
entire
stumble
time
shop full
I
of
was in the
people,
shop.
just over and over again. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So those are my favorites.
That probably would have come up in the conversation as well because I would have snickered quite a bit. So just like that, the entire
She was like,
time.
why is this here? Why is it's making a fun noise? It must be here to make fun noises.
Oh boy.
Oh,
All right, who
man.
wants to go next?
I'll go. Maybe.
I was gonna say real quick, if we're on the Brightwing hype train, the interaction with Dylan, I think that's my favorite.
Oh yeah,
The little bird
That was
chirp.
nice. Yeah.
That's cute. I like that.
baby.
I enjoyed the banter. Just
Yeah.
Oh my
all
God.
of it was just fun. And Eclipse and I are gonna get along
Yes!
so well.
That's a
I-
relationship right there. Oof.
Yeah.
It's going to go so incredibly well. I see it panning out extraordinarily. We'll see. It'll be fun. But I enjoyed my little one-on-one time with the sister. I think that was pretty neat to do. And
First
fuck all
no
of it, 'cause
headphone
you'll never
moment.
get to hear it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
First no
exactly.
Not a technical whisper, but
I mean, the doorbell thing is really hard to top. That would probably be one of the best ones, I think. But to kind of echo Sean, the banter I think was pretty fitting, and kind of seeing this natural gravitation already has been pretty cool. Like there's inclusion even at this point, and I think that's hard, especially when it starts out. But at the same time, there's those levels of protection, and there's the respect of like, okay, I really don't know you. So I think the meshing of everybody's personality is working pretty well, and that's pretty hype for me.
I mean, again, just like the doorbell thing was fucking hilarious. I enjoyed being a part of it.
Yeah.
I really, really liked Eclipse and Seraph's back
yeah.
and forth. I really like that because as Sabel, I was, but me and Vanna, oh my god, this is the closest my brother has ever gotten to a girlfriend ever. And then, but then just like in my head, the image of the image of Vanna just turning into a fish and then just like,
yep.
that's so funny to me.
That was so good. Yeah, the sad thing is Eclipse was trying to be genuine, and it just got turned around, and I was like, I'll just roll it, whatever. It's fine.
He just like heard the tone of voice,
I
which
jumped
I
on
guess
that
for
train so
Eclipse
quick.
it's just
Yeah.
consistently like,
Yeah.
"And the
Down.
world is dead to me, and I'm just here living it." And he took that and was like, "Ow,
Ow.
that hurt." So yeah, it's a
Like,
whole
stay
thing.
on target, and it's like, oh, okay. I'm like, no, wait. This is fine. This is the relationship now.
All
I've
right.
embraced it.
Well, we will see you all on Friday next
Yeah.
week,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Saturday.
It'll be good.
Adios.
Bye
Stream
bye.
still recording.
Bye.